Bharatiya's birthday and Bharatiya BHASHA DIWAS celebration. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Governor is viewing the books contributed by great thinkers and writers towards the richness of Tamil language, translated from various language to Tamil and translated from Tamil to various language. We also have the contributions from the Classical Institute, Central Institute of Classical Tamil, their contribution by various writers towards enhancing the richness of the language, taking it to the next generation. The Honorable Governor is greeting all the dignitaries who have come here to make this occasion of Mahakavi Subramania Bharatiya's birthday and Bharatiya BHASHA DIWAS celebration a more glorified one. National anthem followed by Tamil Thai Varthu.
तव शुभ नामे जाहे, तव शुभ आशीष माहे, गाहे तव जय गाथा। जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे जय हे जय हे, जय 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 हे। நீராறும் கடலுடுத்த நிலமடந்தை கெழிலொழுகும், சீராறும் வதனமென திகழ்பரத கண்டமிதில், தெக்கணமும் அதிசிறந்த திராவிடனல் திருநாடும், தக்க சிறு பிறை நுதலும் தரித்தனரும் திலகமுமே, அத்திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற, எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே, தமிழனங்கே உன் சீரிழமை திறம் வியந்து செயல் மறந்து வாழ்த்துதுமே, வாழ்த்துதுமே, வாழ்த்துதுமே.
We humbly request all our dignitaries to kindly take your respective seats. Today marks the birth anniversary of Mahakavi Subramania Bharatiyar, and we are present in Bharatiyar Mandapam. So it is very befitting to listen to Mahakavi Subramania Bharatiyar's poetic rendition, patriotic rendition, Parukulle Nalla Nadu Nam Bharata Nadu, which means in this entire universe, our Bharat Rashtra is the best Rashtra.
எங்கள் பாரத நாடு பருக்குள்ளே நல்ல நாடு, ஞானத்திலே பரமோனத்திலே உயர் மானத்திலே அன்னதானத்திலே, ஞானத்திலே பரமோனத்திலே உயர் மானத்திலே அன்னதானத்திலே, கானத்திலே அமுதாக நிறைந்த கவிதையிலே உயர் நாடு. கானத்திலே அமுதாக நிறைந்த கவிதையிலே உயர் நாடு. இந்த பாருக்குள்ளே நல்ல நாடு எங்கள் பாரத நாடு. தீரத்திலே படை வீரத்திலே நெஞ்சில் ஈரத்திலே உபகாரத்திலே. தீரத்திலே படை வீரத்திலே நெஞ்சில் ஈரத்திலே உபகாரத்திலே. சாரத்திலே மிக சாத்திரம் கண்டு தருவதிலே உயர் நாடு. சாரத்திலே மிக சாத்திரம் கண்டு தருவதிலே உயர் நாடு. இந்த பாருக்குள்ளே நல்ல நாடு எங்கள் பாரத நாடு. எங்கள் பாரத நாடு. பாருக்குள்ளே நல்ல நாடு எங்கள் பாரத நாடு. எங்கள் பாரத நாடு.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we now humbly request the Honorable Governor to light the traditional lamp, the Kuttuvilakku. We welcome Dr. Sudha Seshian, Vice Chairperson, Central Institute of Classical Tamil, Chennai, to light the traditional lamp. We welcome Professor R. Chandrasekharan, Director, Central Institute of Classical Tamil, to light the traditional lamp. We welcome to Tirupur Krishnan sir to light the traditional lamp. We welcome the respected Secretary to the Honorable Governor to light the traditional lamp. The lamp which embodies enlightenment, represents prosperity, represents knowledge, triumph of the good, and the channel to embrace higher ideals and values. Thank you, sir. We now humbly request the Honorable Governor to pay floral tributes to the portrait of Mahakavi Subramania Bharathiyar on the occasion of his birth anniversary. We request our dignitaries also to pay floral tributes to Mahakavi Subramania Bharatiyar. Thank you, sir. Mahakavi Subramania Bharathiyar's songs and poems are like the first ray of hope and sunshine for the sparrow which sees it early in the morning. Likewise, today's day, let us begin with the cultural performance by Thiru Madhavapedi Murthy from Shiva Foundation School of Kuchipudi. And the first performance will be Theerada Vilayattu Pillai. Presenting before you is Thiru Madhavapedi Murthy.
தீராத விளையாட்டு பிள்ளை, தீராத விளையாட்டு பிள்ளை, கண்ணன் தீராத விளையாட்டு பிள்ளை, கண்ணன் தீராத விளையாட்டு பிள்ளை, கண்ணன் தெருவில் பெண்கள் கூடாத தொல்லை, தீராத விளையாட்டு பிள்ளை, கண்ணன் தெருவில் பெண்கள் கூடாத தொல்லை, தீராத விளையாட்டு பிள்ளை. தின்னப்பழம் கொண்டு தருவான், தின்னப்பழம் கொண்டு தருவான், பாதி தின்கின்ற போதிலே தட்டி பறிப்பான், தின்னப்பழம் கொண்டு தருவான், பாதி தின்கின்ற போதில் தட்டி பறிப்பான், என்னப்பன் என்னை என் என்றான், என்னப்பன் என்னை என் என்றான், என்னப்பன் என்னை என் என்றான், என்னப்பன் என்னை என் என்றான், அதனை எச்சிப்படுத்தி கடுத்து கொடுப்பான், தீராத விளையாட்டு பிள்ளை, கண்ணன் தெருவிலே பெண்கள் கோயாத தொல்லை, தீராத விளையாட்டு பிள்ளை. அழகுள்ள மலர் கொண்டு வந்தே, அழகுள்ள மலர் கொண்டு வந்தே, என்னை அழகழ செய்து பின் கண்ணை மூடிக்கொள், குழலிலே சூட்டுவேன் என்பான், குழலிலே சூட்டுவேன் என்பான், என்னை குருடாக்கி மலரினை தோழிக்கு வைப்பான், தீராத விளையாட்டு பிள்ளை, விளையாட்டு பிள்ளை, விளையாட்டு பிள்ளை, விளையாட்டு பிள்ளை, விளையாட்டு பிள்ளை, விளையாட்டு பிள்ளை, விளையாட்டு பிள்ளை. பின்னலை பின் நின்றிழுப்பான், பின்னலை பின் நின்றிழுப்பான், கண்ணன் பின்னாலை பின் நின்றிழுப்பான், கண்ணன் பின்னாலை பின் நின்றிழுப்பான், கண்ணன் பின்னாலை பின் நின்றிழுப்பான், தலை பின்னே திரும்பும் முன்னே சென்று மறைவான், பின்னாலை பின் நின்றிழுப்பான், தலை பின்னே திரும்பும் முன்னே சென்று மறைவான், வண்ண புது சேலை தனிலே, 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 புழுதி வாரிச் சொரிந்தே வறுத்து குலைப்பான், தீராத விளையாட்டு பிள்ளை, விளையாட்டு பிள்ளை, விளையாட்டு பிள்ளை, விளையாட்டு விளையாட்டு பிள்ளை, தீராத விளையாட்டு பிள்ளை. கண்ணன் புல்லாங்குழல் கொண்டு வருவான், புல்லாங்குழல் கொண்டு வருவான், கண்ணன் புல்லாங்குழல் கொண்டு வருவான். அமுது பொங்கி ததும் புனர்கீதம் படிப்பான், கள்ளா மயங்குவது போலே, கள்ளால் மயங்குவது போலே, கள்ளால் மயங்குவது போலே, கள்ளால் மயங்குவது போலே, கள்ளால் மயங்குவது போலே, அதை கண்மூடி வாய் திறந்தே கேட்டிருப்போம். தீராத விளையாட்டு பிள்ளை, தீராத விளையாட்டு பிள்ளை, கண்ணன் தெருவிலே பெண்கள் போராத தொல்லை. தீராத விளையாட்டு பிள்ளை, விளையாட்டு பிள்ளை, விளையாட்டு பிள்ளை, விளையாட்டு பிள்ளை, விளையாட்டு பிள்ளை.
Thank you, sir. Thirumadeva Pedimurthy has done a lot of performances in various festivals, Haridas Sangeet Samroh, Taj Mahotsav, and today he is performing here at the historic Bharatiyar Mandapam, presenting Bharatiya's patriotic song, Sindhu Nadi in Misai Nilavinile.
சிந்து நதியின் மிசை நிலவினிலே சேரன நாட்டிளம் பெண்களுடனே சுந்தர தெலுங்கினில் பாட்டிசைத்து தோணிகளோட்டி விளையாடி வருவோம். சிந்து நதியின் இசை நிலவிலே சேரன நாட்டினம் பெண்களுடனே சுந்தர தெலுங்கினில் பாட்டிசைத்து தோணிகள் ஓட்டி விளையாடி வருவோம். கங்கை நதி புறத்து கோதுமை பண்டம், கங்கை நதி புறத்து கோதுமை பண்டம், காவிரி வெற்றிலைக்கு மாறு கொள்வோம். சிங்கமராட்டியர்த்தம் கவிதை கொண்டு சேரத்து தந்தங்கள் பகிசளிப்போம். சிங்கமராட்டியர்த்தம் கவிதை கொண்டு சேரத்து தந்தங்கள் பரிசளிப்போம். சிந்து நதியின் இசை நிலவினிலே சேரன நாடினம் பெண்களுடனே சுந்தர தெலுங்கினில் பாட்டிசைத்து தோணிகள் ஓட்டி விளையாடி வருவோம். சமைப்போம் சிங்களத்தீவினுக்கோர் பாலம் அமைப்போம் சேதுவை மேடுருத்தி வீதி சமைப்போம் வங்கத்தில் ஓடி வரும் நீரி மிகையார் மையத்து நாடுகளில் பயிர் செய்குவோம் வங்கத்தில் ஓடி வரும் நீரி மிகையார் மையத்து நாடுகளில் பயிர் செய்குவோம் சிந்து நதியின் இசை நிலவினிலே சேரன நாட்டிடம் பெண்களுடனே சுந்தர தெலுங்கினில் பாட்டி செய்து தோணிகள் ஓட்டி விளையாடி வருவோம்
Thank you, sir. We have one more performance to entertain all of us from Madhava Pedimurthy, sir. Befitting the day, Bharatiya Bhasha Divas, let us take pride in our identity as Bharatiya. And here we have the performance, Bharata Samudayam Vargave, which means, may the community, Samudayam, we all together, may we prosper. May the Bharat community live long. May it prosper. May the rich heritage, may the rich legacy be there forever. Before you is Bharata Samudayam Vargave by Madhava Pedimurthy, sir.
சமுதாயம் வாழ்கவே வாழ்க வாழ்க பாரத சமுதாயம் வாழ்கவே ஜெய 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 பாரத சமுதாயம் வாழ்கவே வாழ்க வாழ்க பாரத சமுதாயம் வாழ்கவே ஜெய 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 பாரத சமுதாயம் வாழ்கவே கோடி ஜனங்களின் சங்கம் முழுமைக்கும் பொது உடைமை 30 கோடி ஜனங்களின் சங்கம் முழுமைக்கும் பொது உடைமை ஒப்பில்லாத சமுதாயம் உலகத்துக்கு ஒரு புதுமை ஒப்பில்லாத சமுதாயம் உலகத்துக்கு ஒரு புதுமை பாரத சமுதாயம் வாழ்கவே வாழ்க வாழ்க பாரத சமுதாயம் வாழ்கவே ஜய 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 பாரத சமுதாயம் வாழ்கவே மனிதர் உணவை மனிதர் பறிக்கும் வழக்கம் இனி உண்டோ மனிதர் நோக மனிதர் பார்க்கும் வாழ்க்கை இனி உண்டோ புலனில் வாழ்க்கை இனி உண்டோ வாழ்க்கை இனி உண்டோ இனிய பொருள்கள் நெடிய வயல்கள் எண்ணரும் பெருநாடு கனியும் கிழங்கும் தானியங்களும் கணக்கின்றி தரும் நாடு இது கணக்கின்றி தரும் நாடு இது கணக்கின்றி தரும் நாடு பாரத சமுதாயம் வாழ்கவே வாழ்க வாழ்க பாரத சமுதாயம் வாழ்கவே ஜய 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 பாரத சமுதாயம் வாழ்கவே செய்வோம், அதை எந்த நாளும் காப்போம். இனி ஒரு விதி செய்வோம், அதை எந்த நாளும் காப்போம். தனி ஒருவன் குணவில்லையெனில் ஜகத்தினை அழித்திடுவோம். தனி ஒருவன் குணவில்லையெனில் ஜகத்தினை அழித்திடுவோம். பாரத சமுதாயம் வாழ்கவே, வாழ்க வாழ்க பாரத சமுதாயம் வாழ்கவே. ஜய 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 பாரத சமுதாயம் வாழ்கவே. எல்லாரும் ஓர் குலம், எல்லாரும் ஓரினம், எல்லாரும் இந்திய மக்கள். எல்லாரும் ஓர் நிறை, எல்லாரும் ஓர் விலை, எல்லாரும் இந்நாட்டு மன்னர். நாம் எல்லாரும் இந்நாட்டு மன்னர். ஆம், எல்லாரும் இந்நாட்டு மன்னர். ஜய 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 பாரத சமுதாயம் வாழ்கவே, வாழ்க வாழ்க பாரத சமுதாயம் வாழ்கவே. ஜய 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 பாரத சமுதாயம் வாழ்கவே. ஜய 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 பாரத சமுதாயம் வாழ்கவே. ஜய 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 பாரத சமுதாயம் வாழ்கவே.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we now humbly request the Honorable Governor to felicitate our cultural performer, Thiru Kalaimamani, Thiru Madhava Pedimurthy. We also request our dignitaries, Thiru Chandrasekharan sir, Dr. Seshan ma'am, as Secretary to the Honorable Governor. We welcome them to the dais. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
சீரியல் நம்பர் 1 இல்ல சீரியல் நம்பர்
செக் பண்ணிடுங்க மேடம். ஏன்னா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வந்து நமக்கு இந்த ஸ்பீச்சஸ் எல்லாம் தான்.
அந்த சீரியல் நம்பர் 1 அப்புறம் 4 1 4
லாஸ்ட் ஒரு சால் மேடம். இதை கட் பண்ணிடுங்க மேடம். இங்க வச்சிருங்க. ஜி சசிகலா வந்துட்டாங்களா? இதை டிக் பண்ணிடுங்க மேடம். 10 வந்துட்டாங்க. 10 வந்துட்டாங்க. ஓகே. இதை டிக் பண்ணிடுங்க. இதை டிக் பண்ணிடுங்க மேடம். இல்ல ராமச்சந்திரசேகரன் வரல. ராய் வரல. ஜெயராம் டாக்டர் சி சதானந்தன் வரலையா? சாரி வேதாச்சலம் வரல. 13 அது வந்து அட்டெண்டன்ட் போட்டுருக்கு. டேட் மேடம் இல்ல டென்ட் அட்டெண்ட் நாட் கமிங். ஓகே 1 2 3 4 5 பேர் ஒருத்தங்க வந்துட்டாங்க சார். ஓகே 5 பேர் வரல. மேடம் அந்த நேம் பாத்துக்கோங்க. ஆமா நம்பர் போட்டு எடுக்காதீங்க. நேம் எழுதுங்க. கொடுங்க மேடம். நேம் கொடுத்துட்டு அதான் அதுதான் பெஸ்ட்டு. ஏன்னா அந்த இந்த தனியாக இருக்கும்.
ஓகே ஓகே. இல்லை அவர் முதல் சொல்லும்போதே எடுத்து தனியாக வச்சாச்சு. திருப்பி இப்போ சசிகலாவை இன்க்ளூட் பண்ணணும். அதோட லாஸ்ட் ஆகும். சீரியல் நம்பர் 41. மேடம் சசிகலான்னு ஒரு மேடம் வந்துட்டாங்க. அந்த வெட்டி வச்சோம்ல.
செக் டெஸ்ட் செக்.
டாக்டர் எம் ஜெயராமன்.
Check testing. Check.
ஏன்னா அவங்க தனி லிஸ்ட்டு அவங்க இவங்க ராமச்சந்திரசேகரன்.
Check testing. Check.
டாக்டர் வி வேதாச்சன். அவங்க வந்தாங்கன்னா தனியாக கொடுத்துக்கலாம். We extend a hearty welcome to the Honorable Governor. மாண்புமிகு ஆளுநர் அவர்களை இரு கரங்கள் கூப்பி வருக வருக என்று வரவேற்கின்றோம். We extend a hearty welcome to Dr. Sudha Seshayan. We extend a hearty welcome to Professor R. Chandrasekharan. We extend a hearty welcome to the respected Secretary to the Honorable Governor. Thank you, sir. We now request the respected Secretary to the Honorable Governor, Thiru R. Kirlosh Kumar IAS, to deliver the welcome address.
அனைவருக்கும் இனிய காலை வணக்கங்கள். Today we are celebrating Mahakavi Bharathiyar's birth anniversary. His yeoman contribution to our freedom struggle, his constant efforts in taking forward our Tamil language to the rest of the world, his fight for emancipation of women and social reforms, the patriotic songs which was a hallmark of his poetry are just a few of his achievements. I extend a hearty welcome to our Honorable Governor, under whose guidance and initiative Raj Bhavan has organized today's function. I extend a warm welcome to Professor Thiru R. Chandrasekharan, Director, Central Institute of Classical Tamil, and Dr. Sudha Seshayan, Vice Chairperson, Central Institute of Classical Tamil, Chennai. I welcome all the accomplished authors who are going to be felicitated today. I welcome all the guest speakers. I welcome all the dignitaries, the eminent speakers and writers from across the country who have joined us today. I also welcome the cultural artists and the winners of essay competition conducted by the Central Institute of Classical Tamil. I welcome the teachers, students, press and media friends, officials and staff of Raj Bhavan for this memorable celebration. Nandri Vanakkam.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we now welcome Thiru Tirupur Krishnan, who is going to deliver his speech on Sindhanai Undrudayal.
பெருமதிப்பிற்குரிய நமது ஆளுநர் திரு ஆர் என் ரவி அவர்களே, சகோதரி சுதா சேஷையன் அவர்களே, திரு சந்திரசேகரன் உள்ளிட்டு மேடையில் அமர்ந்திருக்கும் பெரியோர்களே, இங்கு கூடியுள்ள நமது இந்திய மொழிகளை வளப்படுத்துகிற எண்ணற்ற எழுத்தாளர் பெருமக்களே, அனைவருக்கும் என்னுடைய வந்தனங்கள். மிக அருமையான ஒரு நடன நிகழ்ச்சி. மனம் முழுவதுமாக அந்த நடனத்தில் தோய்ந்து மிதந்து கொண்டிருக்கிற தருணத்தில் மேடையில் பேசி உங்களை கவர வேண்டிய ஒரு நிர்பந்தம். இந்த நடனத்தை விட்டு இன்னும் நம்மால் வெளிவர முடியவில்லை. எவ்வளவு அழகான பாரதியுடைய வாசகங்கள். இங்கு வருகிற போது எல்லோருமே மிகுந்த கருணை உள்ளவர்களாக உள்ளே நுழைந்தோம். காரணம், ஈரமுள்ள நெஞ்சோடு வந்தோம், மழையில் நனைந்து. பாரதி வசன கவிதையில் எழுதுகிறார், ஆகாயத்திற்கும் பூமிக்குமாக ஆயிரக்கணக்கான நீர் தந்திகளை இணைத்து மழை இசையை இசைக்கிறது என்று எழுதுகிறார். இப்படி ஒரு கற்பனை. இந்திய மொழிகள் அனைத்துக்குமாக நடக்கிற ஒரு விழாவில் தமிழ் மொழி சார்ந்து எழுதுகிறவன் என்கிற முறையில் கலந்து கொள்வது என்பது அளவற்ற ஒரு பெருமிதத்தை தருகிறது. இவ்வளவு மொழிகள் எதற்கு என்ற கேள்வி எழுகிறது. புதுச்சேரி ஸ்ரீ அன்னை ஆரோவில் கட்டப்பட்டு கொண்டிருந்த அந்த தருணத்தில் ஜெர்மனி சென்றிருந்தார். அங்கே டால்ஸ்டாயின் புதல்வர் ஸ்ரீ அன்னையை சந்தித்தார். உங்களிடம் ஒரு கோரிக்கை என்றார். என்ன என்று கேட்டார் அன்னை. உலக மக்கள் அனைவரும் ஒற்றுமையாக இருக்க வேண்டும் என்று நீங்கள் பாடுபடுகிறீர்கள். அதற்கு 2 செயல்களை நீங்கள் செய்தால் போதுமானது. அதை சொல்லவே வந்தேன். என்ன 2 செயல்கள்? இந்திய மக்களிடையே ஒருமைப்பாடு தோன்றுவதற்கு எல்லா இந்தியர்களும் ஆங்கிலத்தில் தான் பேச வேண்டும் என்று நீங்கள் அறிவிக்க வேண்டும். அன்னை சிரித்து கொண்டார். அடுத்து என்ன? எல்லா ஆண்களுக்கும் ஓர் உடை, எல்லா பெண்களுக்கும் ஓர் உடை என்று சீருடை கொண்டு வர வேண்டும். டால்ஸ்டாய் மாபெரும் மேதை, அவரது புதல்வர் இப்படி ஒரு கோரிக்கை வைத்தார். அன்னை சிரித்து கொண்டே சொன்னார், அதுதான் இறைவனின் திட்டம் என்றால் எல்லா ஆண்களின் முகமும் ஒன்று போலவே இருக்க வேண்டும், எல்லா பெண்களின் முகமும் ஒன்று போலவே இருக்க வேண்டும். அப்படி இல்லையே. எனவே இறைவன் அதை விரும்பவில்லை. வேற்றுமையில் ஒற்றுமையைத்தான் இறைவன் விரும்புகிறான் என்று அன்னை தெரிவித்தார். அன்னை சொன்னார், இந்தியாவில் அத்தனை மொழிகளும் ஆனந்தமாக ஆன்மீகத்தை, இந்திய பண்பாட்டை அந்தந்த மொழியில் வளர்க்கும். அதைத்தான் கடவுள் சக்தி விரும்புகிறது என்று அன்னை சொன்ன அந்த அருமையான உண்மையை நிரூபிக்கிற கூட்டம்தான் இந்த கூட்டம், இல்லையா? நாம் எல்லாம் மிகுந்த பெருமிதம் கொள்ள வேண்டிய ஒரு புனித நன்னாள் இந்த பாரதி ஜெயந்தி. சமஸ்கிருதம், தெலுங்கு, சுந்தர தெலுங்கு என்கிறார் பாரதி, மலையாளம், இந்தி என்று எத்தனை மொழிகள். நம்முடைய பாரத மொழிகள் அனைத்திலுமே ஒரு வகையான கவிதை போக்கு இருந்திருக்கிறது. ஈற்றடி கொடுத்து கவிதை எழுத சொல்வது இது வெளிமொழிகளில் கிடையாது. நம்முடைய இந்திய மொழிகள் அனைத்திலும், தெலுங்கு, கன்னடம், மலையாளம், தமிழ் எல்லாவற்றிலும் ஒரு கடைசி அடியை கொடுத்து ஒரு சவால் மாதிரி அதற்கு கவிதை எழுத சொல்வார்கள். காளிதாசனிடம் அப்படி ஒரு ஈற்றடி கொடுத்தார்கள். சம்ஸ்கிருத கவிதைக்கு அந்த ஈற்றடியில் கவிதை எழுதுவது மிகவும் கடினம். கொடுக்கப்பட்ட ஈற்றடி குழு குக்குழு குக்குழு, அது ஒரு ஒலிக்குறிப்பு. காளிதாசன் எழுதினார். உடனே வர கவி இல்லையா? ஒரு பொய்கை கரையில் நாவல் மரம், இந்த நாவல் மரத்தில் நாவல் கனிகள் பழுத்து தொங்குகின்றன. குரங்குகள் அதை அசைக்கின்றன. அந்த நாவல் பழங்கள் உதிர்ந்து குளத்தில் விழுகிற அந்த சப்தம் இருக்கிறது, குழு குக்குழு குக்குழு. ஜம்பூ பலானி பக்வானி பதந்தி விமலே ஜலே கபி கம்பித சாகாபியாம் குழு குக்குழு குக்குழு என்று உடனடியாக சம்ஸ்கிருதத்தில் ஒரு கவிதை சொன்னார். இன்னொரு நபர் எழுந்து ஒரு சவால், டடன் டடன்டன் டடடன் டடன்டன். அதற்கு எப்படி கவிதை சொல்வது? பொய்கையில் நீர் எடுத்துக்கொண்டு இந்த அழகிய ராஜகுமாரி படிப்படியாக மேலேறி வருகிற சந்தர்ப்பத்தில் எதிரே வந்தான் அவளால் காதலிக்கப்படுகிற ராஜகுமாரன். வெட்கத்தில் அவள் அந்த குடத்தை நழுவ விட்டாள். இந்த படிகளில் உருண்ட சப்தம் இருக்கிறதே, டடன் டடன்டன் டடடன் டடன்டன். ராஜாபிஷேகே மதவிஹ்வலாயா ஹஸ்தாச்சுதோ ஹேமகட்டோ யுவத்யா சோபான மார்கேஷு கரோதி சப்தம் டடன் டடன்டன் டடடன் டடன்டன். இன்றைக்கு பாரதியுடைய ஜெயந்தி. பாரதியிடம் ஒரு ஈற்றடி கொடுத்தார்கள். பாரதி சின்ன பயல், கொடுத்தது காந்திமதி நாதன். அவர் வெண்பா எழுதினார், காந்திமதி நாதனை பார் அதி சின்ன பயல் என்று அது முடிந்தது. செய்குதம்பி பாவலர், புகழ்பெற்ற சதாவதானி முகமதியர், அவருக்கு ஒரு ஈற்றடி கொடுத்தார்கள். துருக்கனுக்கு ராமன் துணை எப்படி எழுதுவது? இஸ்லாமியர் துருக்கனுக்கு ராமன் துணை என்று எழுத வேண்டும், அவர் எழுதினார். உடனடியாக சொன்னார், எண்ணற்றவர்களுக்கு ராமன் துணை, நம் அனைவருக்கும் ராமன் துணை, சீதைக்கு ராமன் துணை, பரதனுக்கு ராமன் துணை, லட்சுமணனுக்கு ராமன் துணை, அதுபோலவே சத்துருக்கனுக்கு ராமன் துணை இவர் சொன்னதாக இந்த வரலாறு சொல்கிறது. எல்லாம் ஈற்றடி. நம்முடைய அத்தனை மொழிகளிலும் இப்படி எழுதப்பட்டிருக்கிற ஈற்றடிகளை எல்லாம் தொகுத்தே ஒரு புத்தகமாக்கலாம். எல்லா மொழிகளையும் ரசிக்கிற அந்த ரசனை உணர்வு, அதுதான் நமக்கு தேவை. மிகச்சிறந்த சமஸ்கிருத அன்பர் ஒருவர், மிகச்சிறந்த சமஸ்கிருத அறிஞர் ஒருவர் தமிழை வளப்படுத்தி இருக்கிறார். அவர் யார் தெரியுமா? கவி சக்கரவர்த்தி கம்பர். அவரை விட உயர்ந்த சமஸ்கிருத அறிஞரை தமிழ் வரலாற்றில் நீங்கள் பார்க்க முடியாது. வால்மீகி ராமாயணத்தை கரைத்து குடித்துத்தான் கம்பராமாயணத்தை எழுதினார். இன்றைய தமிழ் எழுத்தாளர்கள், முக்கியமாக எல்லா எழுத்தாளர்களும், குறிப்பாக தமிழ் எழுத்தாளர்கள் கற்றுக்கொள்ள வேண்டிய ஒரு உயர்ந்த குணம் கம்பரிடம் உண்டு. அப்பேற்பட்ட சமஸ்கிருத அறிஞர் வால்மீகியை விட சிறப்பாக கம்பராமாயணத்தை எழுதிய அந்த கவிஞர் எழுதுகிற பொழுது, வால்மீகி என்கிற அந்த பெரிய பார்க்கடலில் ஒரு பூனை அந்த பாலை குடிக்கலாம் என்று நினைக்கிற மாதிரி நான் இந்த கம்பராமாயணத்தை எழுதுகிறேன் என்று அவர் அடக்கத்தோடு எழுதுகிறார். ஓசை பெற்று பார்க்கடல் புக்கு உயர் பூசை நக்கி குடிப்பதைப் போல நான் எழுதுகிறேன் என்று அவர் எழுதுகிறார். கம்பர் காலத்திலேயே எல்லா மொழிகளுடைய வளமும் தமிழில் வந்திருக்கிறது. வையாபுரி பிள்ளை கம்பர் வாழ்ந்த காலம் கிபி 12ஆம் நூற்றாண்டாக இருக்கலாம் என்று கருதுகிறார். சிலர் 8ஆம் நூற்றாண்டு என்கிறார்கள். வையாபுரி பிள்ளை சொல்கிறார், அக்கட ராவணர்க்கு அமைந்த ஆற்றலே என அக்கட என்கிற கன்னட சொல் கம்பராமாயணத்தில் இருக்கிறது. தாளம் இடைந்தன தம்மி இடைந்தன என்று தம்மி என்கிற தெலுங்கு சொல், தாமரையை குறிக்கிற சொல் கம்பராமாயணத்தில் இருக்கிறது. எனவே எல்லா மொழிகளுடைய வார்த்தைகளாலும் நம்முடைய தமிழ் வளம் பெற்றிருப்பதை நாம் பார்க்கிறோம். இன்னொரு மாபெரும் சமஸ்கிருத அறிஞர் வெள்ளிபுத்தூர் ஆழ்வார். அவர் மகாபாரதத்தை படித்து தமிழில் வெள்ளி பாரதம் என எழுதினார் என்பதை நம்முடைய கவிதை வரலாறு நமக்கு சுட்டுகிறது. இப்படி ஏராளமான பேர் வளப்படுத்தினார்கள். இந்த பரந்த தமிழ் கவிதை இலக்கிய பரப்பில் ஒரு ஸ்லேடையில் அமைந்த சமஸ்கிருத சொல்லை அப்படியே தமிழ் சொல்லை போல பயன்படுத்திய ஒரு செய்யுள் நூலும் உண்டு, நளவெண்பா. புகழேந்தி புலவர் எழுதிய நளவெண்பாவில் ஒரு சம்பவம் வருகிறது. அது சம்ஸ்கிருத சொல்லை நீக்கி அந்த சம்பவத்தை சொல்ல முடியாது. அது புகழேந்தி புலவருக்கும் தெரியும். சம்ஸ்கிருதத்தில் தச என்று ஒரு சொல். தச என்ற சொல்லுக்கு 2 பொருள். ஒன்று 10, இன்னொன்று கடித்தல், கடிப்பது. எரிகிற நெருப்பிலிருந்து இந்த பாம்பை நளன் காப்பாற்றுகிறான். இந்த பாம்பு நளனுக்கு உதவி செய்ய விரும்புகிறது. அவன் கடி என்று சொன்னால் அது கடிக்கும், அப்போதுதான் அது சரியாக இருக்கும் அறநெறிப்படி. எனவே அது சொல்கிறது, நீ 10 அடி நடந்து 10வது அடி நடக்கிற பொழுது அது 10வது அடி என்று உணர்த்துகிற மாதிரி தச என்று சொல் என்று பாம்பு சொல்கிறது. தமிழில் அப்படியே தச என்றுதான் அந்த புகழேந்தி புலவர் எழுதுகிறார். அவன் அப்படி நடந்து தச என்று சொன்னவுடன் பாம்பு கடிக்கிறது. நளன் ஏன் என்னை கடித்தாய் என்று கேட்கிறான். தச என்று சொன்னாயே, கடி என்று சொன்னாய் அல்லவா, அதனால் கடித்தேன் என்று பாம்பு சம்ஸ்கிருதம் தெரிந்து அதனுடைய உட்பொருள் தெரிந்து சொன்னதாக புகழேந்தி புலவர் என்கிற தமிழ் புலவர் எழுதுகிறார். அருணகிரிநாதருடைய நிறைய பாடல்களில் நிறைய சம்ஸ்கிருத சொற்களின் கலப்பையும் அதனால் விளைந்த அழகையும் நீங்கள் ரசிக்கலாம். நாதவிந்து கலாதி நமோ நம, வேத மந்திர சுரூபா நமோ நம என்கிற பாடலில் கடைசியில் வெகு கோடி என்று ஒரே ஒரு தமிழ் சொல் வெகு கோடியில் இருக்கும். மீதி எல்லாம் சம்ஸ்கிருத சொற்கள். அவ்வளவு தூரம் சம்ஸ்கிருதம் தமிழை வளப்படுத்தி இருக்கிறது. அது மட்டுமா, தமிழும் இந்தியை வளப்படுத்தி இருக்கிறது. ஒரு மாபெரும் இந்தி காப்பியம் ஒன்று தோன்றுவதற்கு தமிழ் காரணமாக இருந்திருக்கிறது. நம்முடைய குமரகுருபரர் மீனாட்சியம்மை பிள்ளை தமிழ் தொடுக்கும் கடவுட்பழம்பாடல் தொடையின் பயனை என்பது போன்ற அற்புதமான கவிதைகளை எழுதிய குமரகுருபரர் காசிக்கு சென்றார். அங்கே இந்தியில் ராமாயண பிரவச்சனம் செய்தார். உண்மையில் அது ராமாயண பிரவச்சனம் அல்ல, கம்பராமாயண பிரவச்சனம். கம்பன் எப்படியெல்லாம் தமிழில் எழுதியிருக்கிறார் என்பதை இந்தியில் அவர் சொல்ல சொல்ல அந்த நயத்தில் சொக்கி கிறங்கினார் ஒல்லியான ஒரு இந்தி புலவர் துளசிதாசர். இது மாதிரி நம்மால் எழுத முடியுமா என்று யோசித்து அதன் பிறகு இந்தியில் அவர் எழுதியதுதான் துளசி ராமாயணம். அவரால் கம்பரை மிஞ்ச முடியவில்லை. கம்பரை வால்மீகி நினைத்தால் கூட மிஞ்ச முடியாத அளவுக்கு கம்பராமாயணம் நிற்கிறது. எனவே எப்படியாவது தன்னுடைய ராமாயணத்தில் ஒரு வேறுபாட்டை காண்பிக்க வேண்டும் என்று விரும்பிய துளசிதாசர் ஒரு உத்தி புதுமையை செய்தார். வால்மீகி ராமாயணம் கவிக்கூற்று, வால்மீகியே எழுதியது. கம்பராமாயணம் கவிக்கூற்று, கம்பரே சொல்கிற பாணியில் அமைந்தது. துளசி ராமாயணம் துளசி எழுதியது என்றாலும் அதனுடைய உத்தி சிவபெருமான் பார்வதிக்கு ராமாயணம் சொல்வதை போன்றது. சிவன் சொல்ல சொல்ல பார்வதி சில சந்தேகங்களை கேட்கிறாள். அதையெல்லாம் நிவர்த்தி செய்து கொண்டே சிவன் ராமாயணத்தை கூறுவதான ஒரு புதிய உத்தியில் துளசிதாசர் தன்னுடைய துளசி ராமாயணத்தை எழுதினார் என்பதை துளசி ராமாயண வரலாறு நமக்கு சொல்கிறது. இன்று கூட நாம் இங்கே அத்தனை மொழிகளையும் கொண்டாடி கொண்டு அமர்ந்திருக்கிறோம். இன்று கூட இந்தியா முழுவதும் ஏராளமான மேடைகளில் ஒரே நிகழ்ச்சியில் ஏராளமான மொழிகளில் பாடல்கள் பாடப்படுகின்றன. அது பஜனை நிகழ்ச்சி. இந்தியாவின் எந்த கோடியில் நீங்கள் போய் பஜனை நிகழ்ச்சியில் அமர்ந்தாலும் தெலுங்கை கேட்கலாம், இந்தியை கேட்கலாம், மராத்தி அபங்க கேட்கலாம், தமிழை கேட்கலாம், அனைத்தையும் ரசிக்க முடியும். நம்முடைய நடன மேடையில் கிருஷ்ணா நீ பேக்கனே பாரோ என்கிற அந்த கன்னட கீர்த்தனைக்கு பால சரஸ்வதி தேவி நடனமாடிய பொழுது அதை எல்லா இந்திய மக்களும் ரசித்தார்கள். மொழி நம்மை பிரிக்கவில்லை, மொழி நம்மை இணைக்கிறது. அதை நாம் புரிந்து கொள்ள வேண்டும். அற்புதமான இந்த இந்திய திருநாட்டில் இத்தனை மொழிகளுடைய வளமுடைய இந்த திருநாட்டில் பிறப்பதற்கே நாம் கொடுத்து வைத்திருக்க வேண்டும். ஒவ்வொரு மொழியிலும் அவ்வளவு அருமையான இலக்கிய செழுமை இருப்பதை பார்க்கிறோம். ஆகையால் என்னுடைய பேச்சை முடிக்கிற பொழுது 2 விஷயங்களை சொல்ல விரும்புகிறேன். திரு வெங்கையா நாயுடு அவர்கள் பேசுகிற போது கவிதை மாதிரி அழகான ஒரு வாக்கியத்தை சொன்னார். முதலில் நீங்கள் மதர் டங் தாய்மொழி கற்றுக்கொள்ளுங்கள், அதன் பிறகு பிரதர் டங் தெலுங்கு மலையாளம் போன்ற அண்டை மொழிகளை கற்றுக்கொள்ளுங்கள். மதர் டங் பிரதர் டங் 2ம் கற்றுக்கொண்ட பிறகு மேலும் ஒரு அதர் டங் கற்றுக்கொள்ளுங்களே என்றார். அப்படி எல்லா மொழிகளையும் நாம் கற்றுக்கொள்ள வேண்டும். இதனால் என்ன பயன் என்பதை ஒரு சின்ன குட்டி கதை நகைச்சுவையாக சொல்கிறது. ஒரு தாய் பூனை ஒரு குட்டி பூனை, ஒரு நாய் துரத்துகிறது. குட்டி பூனைக்கு அடுத்து என்ன நடக்குமோ என்ற அச்சம். தாய் பூனையும் குட்டி பூனையும் பயந்து ஓடுகின்றன. அந்த நாய் அருகே நெருங்கி விட்டது. ஒரு மூலையில் 2 பூனைகளும் மாட்டிக்கொண்டு விட்டன. எப்படி தப்பிக்கப் போகிறோமோ என்று குட்டி பூனை பதறுகிற பொழுது தாய் பூனை அந்த நாயை உற்று பார்த்து லொல் 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 என்று குறைக்கிறது. நாய் யோசிக்கிறது, பூனை மியாவ் என்றல்லவா கத்தும், லொல் லொல் என்று குறைக்கிறதே என்று நினைத்துக் கொண்டே தயங்கி பின்வாங்கி ஓடிவிடுகிறது. குட்டி பூனை தாய் பூனையிடம் கேட்கிறது, என்னம்மா செய்தாய்? தாய் பூனை சொல்கிறது, அதனால தான் சொல்றேன், இன்னொரு பாஷை தெரிஞ்சா எப்பவுமே நல்லது என்று. எல்லா மொழிகளையும் கற்போம். இந்தி வாழ்க, தமிழ் வாழ்க, தெலுங்கு வாழ்க, சம்ஸ்கிருதம் வாழ்க, மலையாளம் வாழ்க என எல்லா மொழிகளையும் வாழ்த்துவோம். பிற நாட்டு நல்லறிஞர் சாத்திரங்கள் அனைத்தும் பாரதி கண்ட கனவின்படி தமிழ் மொழியில் கொண்டு சேர்ப்போம் என்று சொல்லி உங்களை போன்ற உன்னதமான எழுத்தாளர்கள் மத்தியில் ஆளுநர் திரு ரவி அவர்கள் முன்னிலையில் பேச கிடைத்த இந்த பெரும் வாய்ப்புக்கு நன்றி கூறி விடைபெறுகிறேன். நன்றி, வணக்கம்.
Nandri Iyer. We now welcome Dr. Rangasamy, who will deliver his speech on Bharatiyar Mathu Kuvempu, that is Bharatiyar and Kuvempu.
ವೇದಿಕೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಆಸೀನರಾಗಿರುವ ಗಣ್ಯಾತಿ ಗಣ್ಯರಿಗೆ ವಂದನೆಗಳು. ಹಾಗೆ ವೇದಿಕೆಯ ಮುಂಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ நமஸ்கார. அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். இப்பொழுது பாரதியார் மற்றும் குவெம்பு அவர்களை பற்றி சுருக்கமாக கன்னடத்தில் பேசுவதற்கு நான் விரும்புகிறேன். கன்னடத்தில் குவெம்பு அவர்கள் பாரதியார் போலவே ஒரு புரட்சிகரமான ಕವಿஞர். ಸುಬ್ರಮಣ್ಯ ಭಾರತಿಯಾರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಕುವೆಂಪು ಎನ್ನುವ ಈ ಶೀರ್ಷಿಕೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೆಲವು ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನು ಆಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಯಸುತ್ತೇನೆ. ಸುಬ್ರಹ್ಮಣ್ಯ ಭಾರತಿಯಾರ್ ಅವರ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯ ಕೃಷಿ ಆರಂಭವಾದದ್ದು ಆಧುನಿಕ ತಮಿಳಿನ ಪುನರುಜ್ಜೀವನದ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲೇ. ಅವರು ಕವಿ, ಪ್ರಬಂಧಕಾರ, ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಪತ್ರಿಕೆ ಉದ್ಯಮಿ, ಅನುವಾದಕ, ಸಣ್ಣ ಕಥೆಗಾರ, ಕಾದಂಬರಿಕಾರ, ಹೀಗೆ ಅವರು ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಮುಖವಾದ ಪ್ರತಿಭೆಯನ್ನ ಉಳ್ಳವರು. ಒಟ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರೊಬ್ಬ ಪರಿಪೂರ್ಣವಾದ ವಿದ್ವಾಂಸರು, ಲೇಖನೀಯ ಮಂತ್ರವಾದಿ ಅಂತಲೇ ಅವರನ್ನ ನಾವು ಗುರುತಿಸ್ಬೋದು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವರ ಪ್ರತಿಭೆ ತಾನು ಮುಟ್ಟಿದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯ ರೂಪಗಳಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಪರಿವರ್ತನಾ ದೀಪ್ತಿಯನ್ನ ಒದಗಿಸಿತ್ತು. ಅವರನ್ನ ಹಿಂಬಾಲಿಸಿ ಆಧುನಿಕ ತಮಿಳಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಲೇಖಕರ ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಪೀಳಿಗೆಯೇ ಆರಂಭವಾಯಿತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಆದುದರಿಂದ ಭಾರತೀಯರ್ ಅವರು ಹೊಸ ಪರಂಪರೆಯ ಹರಿಕಾರರೆಂದು ಒಂದು ರೀತಿ ಗೌರವಿಸಲ್ಪಟ್ಟರು. ಭಾರತೀಯರಂತೆಯೇ ಕುವೆಂಪು ಅವರು, ಕುಪ್ಪಲ್ಲಿ ವೆಂಕಟಪ್ಪ ಪುಟ್ಟಪ್ಪ ಅವರು ಕನ್ನಡದ ಶ್ರೇಷ್ಠ ಸಾಹಿತಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬರು. ಇವರು ಕೂಡ ಕವಿ, ಕಾದಂಬರಿಗಾರ, ನಾಟಕಕಾರ, ವಿಮರ್ಶಕ, ಹೀಗೆ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯದ ಬಹು ಪ್ರತಿಭೆ ಉಳ್ಳವರು. ಒಂದು ರೀತಿ ಮಹತ್ವಪೂರ್ಣವಾದ ಸಾಧನೆಯನ್ನ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದವರು. ತಮ್ಮ ಸಮೃದ್ಧ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯದಿಂದ ಕನ್ನಡ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯದ ದಿಗಂತವನ್ನ ಅವರು ವಿಸ್ತರಿಸಿದವರು. ಕನ್ನಡ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯ ಮತ್ತು ಭಾಷೆಗೆ ಘನತೆ ಗೌರವಗಳನ್ನು ಸಂಪಾದಿಸಿಕೊಟ್ಟವರು. ಈ ನಿಟ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾರತೀಯರ್, ಸುಬ್ರಹ್ಮಣ್ಯ ಭಾರತೀಯರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಕುವೆಂಪು ಇಬ್ಬರು ಕೂಡ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಒಂದೇ ರೀತಿಯ ಕಾಲಘಟ್ಟದ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬಾಳಿ ಬದುಕಿದವರು. ಭಾರತೀಯರ ಮತ್ತು ಕುವೆಂಪುರವರು ಭಾರತದ ದೇಶದ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ಕವಿಗಳೆನಿಸಿಕೊಂಡವರು. ಮಾತ್ರವಲ್ಲದೆ ಭಾರತ ಸ್ವಾತಂತ್ರ್ಯದ ಜ್ವಾಲೆಯನ್ನ ದೇಶದ ಉದ್ದಕ್ಕೂ ಕೂಡ ಪಸರಿಸಿದವರು. ಕೆಂಡದಂತ ಕವಿತೆಗಳನ್ನ ಬರೆಯುತ್ತಾ ಆ ಕವಿತೆಗಳಿಂದ ನಿದ್ರಿಸುತ್ತಿರುವ ಜನರು ತಮ್ಮ ತಮ್ಮ ಮೈಚಳಿಯನ್ನ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಎಚ್ಚರಗೊಳ್ಳುವಂತೆ ಇಬ್ಬರು ಮಾಡಿದವರು. ಜನರ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಾತಂತ್ರ್ಯದ ದಾಹವನ್ನು ಉಂಟು ಮಾಡಿ ಎದ್ದೇಳುವಂತೆ ಮಾಡಿದವರು. ಸ್ವಾತಂತ್ರ್ಯ ಎಂಬ ಯಾಗವನ್ನ ಪೂರೈಸುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಜನರ ಒಗ್ಗಟ್ಟನ್ನ ಹೊತ್ತಿ ಹೇಳಿದವರು. ದೇಶದ ಹಿಂದಿನ ಹಿರಿಮೆಯನ್ನ, ಹಿಂದಿನ ಅವನತಿಯನ್ನು ಕಂಡು ಮನಸ್ಸನ್ನೊಂದು ಕವಿತೆಗಳನ್ನ ರಚಿಸಿದವರು. ಮಾತೃಭಾಷಾ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣವನ್ನ ಒತ್ತಾಯಿಸಿದವರು. ಸ್ತ್ರೀಯರ ಏಳಿಗೆಯನ್ನ ಬಯಸಿದವರು. ಈ ಹಿನ್ನೆಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾರತೀಯರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಕುವೆಂಪುರವರು ದೇಶ ಪ್ರೇಮ ಮತ್ತು ಭಾಷಾ ಪ್ರೇಮವನ್ನ ತಮ್ಮ ತಮ್ಮ ಕವಿತೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಅಭಿವ್ಯಕ್ತಪಡಿಸಿರುವುದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಕಾಣಬಹುದು. ಭಾರತೀಯರ್ ಅವರು ಅನುವಾದಿಸಿರುವ ವಂದೇ ಮಾತರಂ, ಜಯ ಭಾರತ ಗೀತೆಗಳೆರಡೂ ಕೂಡ ತಮ್ಮ ತಮ್ಮ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಂತ ರಚನೆಗಳೇ ಆಗಿವೆ. ವಂದೇ ಮಾತರಂ ಕವಿತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವು ಸಾಲುಗಳು ಬರುತ್ತವೆ. ಮಾತೆಯೇ ವಂದಿಸುವೆವು ನಿನಗೆ, ವಿಜಯದ ಮಾತೆಯೇ ವಂದಿಸುವೆವು ನಿನಗೆ, ಜಯ ಹಿಂದ್, ಜಯ ಭಾರತ, ಜಯ ಭಾರತ, ಜಯ 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 ವಂದೇ ಮಾತರಂ. ಆರ್ಯ ಆವರ್ತದ ಗಂಡು ಹೆಣ್ಣು ದಿವಿಜರು ಸಾಲುಗಟ್ಟಿ ಹಾಡುವರು ಜಯ ಉನ್ಮತ್ತ ಮಂತ್ರವನ ಒಂದೇ ಮಾತರಂ. ಮನದ ತುಂಬ ನೋವಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಸುರುಟಿಕೊಂಡ ದೇಹದಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ಭಕ್ತರು ಈಗಲೂ ಆಳದಿಂದ ಗರ್ಜಿಸುವರು ಒಂದೇ ಮಾತರಂ. ಜಯವೇ ನಮ್ಮದಾಗಲಿ, ಸೋಳೆ ಸಾವೇ ನಮಗಿರಲಿ, ನಿಲ್ಲುವೆವು ಒಂದುಗೂಡಿ ಹಾಡುವೆವು ಮಂತ್ರವನ ಒಂದೇ ಮಾತರಂ ಎನ್ನುವಲ್ಲಿ ತನ್ನ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ರಕ್ಷಣೆಯ ಭಾರವನ್ನ ಹೊತ್ತಿರುವ ತಾಯಿಯಾಗಿದ್ದಳೆ ಭಾರತಾಂಬೆ. ಏಕೀಕೃತ ಭಾರತ ಎನ್ನುವ ಕಲ್ಪನೆ ಭಾರತಕ್ಕೆ ಹೊಸತೇನಲ್ಲ. ವೇದಗಳ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲೂ ಇಂಥ ಕಲ್ಪನೆ ಇತ್ತು ಎಂಬುದು ಈ ಕವಿತೆಯ ಸಾಲುಗಳಿಂದ ತಿಳಿದು ಬರುತ್ತದೆ. ಇದು ಮಾತ್ರವಲ್ಲದೆ ಭಾರತೀಯರವರು ಸ್ವದೇಶ ಗೀತಂಗಲ್, ಜನ್ಮಭೂಮಿ ಎಂಬ ದೇಶಭಕ್ತಿ ಕವಿತೆಗಳನ್ನು ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರವಾಗಿ ರಚಿಸಿ ದೇಶ ಅಭಿಮಾನವನ್ನ ಮನೋಗುಣವಾಗಿ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಪಡಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಕುವೆಂಪು ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಯಾಗಿದ್ದಾಗಲೇ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಗೀತೆ ಎಂಬ ಕವನವನ್ನ ರಚಿಸಿದರು. ಮುಂದೆ ಅದು ಪರಿಷ್ಕಾರಗೊಂಡು ಜಯ ಹೇ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಮಾತೆ ಎಂಬ ನಾಡಗೀತೆಯಾಗಿ ಪರಿಣಮಿಸಿತು. ಕುವೆಂಪು ಅವರ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಪ್ರೇಮವು ಭಾರತದ ಭಾವೈಕ್ಯತೆಗೆ ಭಂಗ ತರುವಂಥದ್ದಲ್ಲ. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಅಥವಾ ಭಾರತೀಯತ್ವಕ್ಕೆ ಎಂದಿಗೂ ಅದು ನಿಲ್ಲುವುದಿಲ್ಲವೆಂದು ಘೋಷಿಸಿದರು. ಅವರು ರಚಿಸಿದ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಗೀತೆಯಲ್ಲಿರುವುದಾದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಅದೇನೆ, ಜೈ ಭಾರತ ಧನಣಿಯ ಧನುಜಾತೆ, ಜಯ ಹೇ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಮಾತೆ. ಈ ಕವಿತೆಯ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕುವೆಂಪು ಅವರೇ ತನ್ನ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯವನ್ನು ಹೀಗೆ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಪಡಿಸುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಕೇರಳ ಅಭಿಮಾನ, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಅಭಿಮಾನ, ಆಂಧ್ರ ಅಭಿಮಾನ ಇತ್ಯಾದಿ ದೇಶ ಭಾಷಾ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರಾಭಿಮಾನಗಳು ದ್ವೇಷಕ್ಕಾಗಲಿ, ಅಸಹನೆಗಾಗಲಿ, ಅನ್ಯಾಯಕ್ಕಾಗಲಿ, ಆಕ್ರಮಣ ಬುದ್ಧಿಗಾಗಲಿ ಎಡೆಗೊಡದೆ ಭಾರತ ಅಭಿಮಾನದ ಆಶ್ರಯದಲ್ಲಿ ವ್ಯಕ್ತವಾದ ಮತ್ತು ಅನುಚಿತವಾದ ಸ್ವಾರ್ಥತೆಗಳನ್ನು ತ್ಯಜಿಸಿ ತಮ್ಮ ಏಳಿಗೆಯನ್ನು ಸಾಧಿಸಬೇಕು. ಏಕೆಂದರೆ ಸರ್ವಕ್ಷೇಮದ ಪ್ರಣಾಳದಲ್ಲಿಯೇ ಸರ್ವಕ್ಷೇಮವು ಹರಿದು ಬರುತ್ತದೆ. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಮಾತಿಗೆ ಸಲ್ಲುವ ಜಯಕಾರ ಆಕೆ ಭಾರತ ಜನನೀಯ ತನುಜಾತೆಯಾಗಿರುವುದರಿಂದಲೇ. ಅಂಗೋದ್ಭವೆಯಾಗಿ ವಿನಃ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇರೆಯ ಅಸ್ತಿತ್ವ ಎಲ್ಲಿ? ನಾನು ರಾಜ್ಯದ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಿಂದ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದವನು, ಭಾಷಾ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಿಂದ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗನು, ಆದರೆ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಿಂದ ಮತ್ತು ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರದ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಿಂದ ಭಾರತೀಯನು. ನನ್ನ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಭಾರತೀಯತ್ವಕ್ಕೆ ಎಂದಿಗೂ ಎದುರು ನಿಲ್ಲುವುದಿಲ್ಲ ಎಂಬುದನ್ನು ಅವರು ತುಂಬ ಸೊಗಸಾಗಿ ಅರ್ಥವತ್ತಾಗಿ ಪ್ರತಿಪಾದಿಸುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಇನ್ನು ಭಾಷಾಭಿಮಾನದ ಇವರಿಬ್ಬರ ನಿಲುವುಗಳನ್ನು ಯಾರು ಭಾರತೀಯರ ಮತ್ತು ಕುವೆಂಪು ಅವರ ನಿಲುವುಗಳನ್ನು ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ಗಮನಿಸಬಹುದು. ಭಾರತೀಯರವರ ಕವನಗಳ ಜೀವನಾಡಿಯಾಗಿ ಭಾಷಾಭಿಮಾನ ಕಂಡುಬರುತ್ತದೆ. ತಮಿಳು ಭಾಷೆಯನ್ನು ಕುರಿತು ಹೇಳುವಾಗ, ನಾನು ಅರಿತಿರುವ ಭಾಷೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ತಮಿಳು ಭಾಷೆಯಂತೆ ಸವಿಯಾದ ಭಾಷೆಯನ್ನು ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಕಂಡಿಲ್ಲ ಎಂದು ತಮಿಳು ಭಾಷೆ ಉತ್ತಮವಾದ ಭಾಷೆ ಎನ್ನುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಮೇಲಾದ ತಮಿಳು ಭಾಷೆ ಇಂದು ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಸೊರಗಿ ಸಾಯುವ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಯಲ್ಲಿರುವುದನ್ನು ಕಂಡು ಭಾರತೀಯವರು ತಮಿಳರನ್ನು ಎಚ್ಚರಿಸುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವರ ಎಚ್ಚರಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ತಮಿಳಿನ ಇಂದಿನ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಯನ್ನು, ಇದರಿಂದ ಆಗಿರುವ ಕೇಡುಗಳನ್ನು ವಿವರಿಸುವುದಲ್ಲದೆ ಆ ಅನಾಹುತದಿಂದ ತಮಿಳು ಭಾಷೆಯನ್ನು ಕಾಪಾಡುವ ಮಾರ್ಗವನ್ನು ಅವರು ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ಸೂಚಿಸುತ್ತಾರೆ. ತಮಿಳಿನ ಇಂದಿನ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಯನ್ನು ಕುರಿತು ಹೇಳುವಾಗ ಅವರು ಹೀಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ: ಪಶ್ಚಿಮ ದೇಶದ ಭಾಷೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಪಂಚಭೂತಗಳ ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮತೆಯನ್ನು ವಿವರಿಸುವ ಹೊಸ ಕೃತಿಗಳು ದಿನೇ ದಿನೇ ಬರುತ್ತಿವೆ. ಅಂತಹ ಕೃತಿಗಳು ತಮಿಳು ಭಾಷೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆದುದರಿಂದ ಅವುಗಳನ್ನು ತಮಿಳು ಭಾಷೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ವಿವರಿಸುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ಅವುಗಳನ್ನು ವಿವರಿಸುವ ಶಕ್ತಿ ತಮಿಳು ಭಾಷೆಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಎಂದು ವಿವರಿಸುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಇಂತಹ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಯಿಂದ ತಮಿಳು ಭಾಷೆಗೆ ಆಗುವ ಕೇಡುಗಳನ್ನು ಭಾರತೀಯವರು ಹೀಗೆ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ಗುರುತಿಸುತ್ತಾರೆ: ಈ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಗೆ ಮುಂದುವರಿದರೆ ಮುಂದೆ ತಮಿಳು ಭಾಷೆ ಮೆಲ್ಲನೆ ಸಾಯುವುದೆಂದು, ಅದರ ಸ್ಥಾನವನ್ನು ಪಶ್ಚಿಮ ದೇಶದ ಭಾಷೆಗಳು ಆಕ್ರಮಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಇರುತ್ತವೆ ಎಂದು ವಿವರಿಸಿ, ಇದನ್ನು ತಡೆಯುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ತಮಿಳರು 8 ದಿಕ್ಕುಗಳಿಗೂ ಹೋಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಕಲಾ ಸಂಪತ್ತುಗಳನ್ನು ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ತಂದು ತಮಿಳು ಭಾಷೆಯನ್ನು ಶ್ರೀಮಂತ ಭಾಷೆಯಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಎಂದು ಅವರು ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ಘೋಷಣೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವರು ತಮಿಳು ಭಾಷೆಯನ್ನು ಕಾಪಾಡುವ ಮಾರ್ಗವನ್ನು ಕುರಿತು ವಿವರಿಸುವಾಗ, ಹೊರದೇಶದ ಪ್ರಸಿದ್ಧವಾದ ವಿದ್ವಾಂಸರ ಕೃತಿಗಳನ್ನು ತಮಿಳು ಭಾಷೆಗೆ ಅನುವಾದಿಸಬೇಕು, ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯದ ಶ್ರೇಷ್ಠವಾದ ಹೊಸ ಸೃಜನಶೀಲ ಕೃತಿಗಳನ್ನು ತಮಿಳು ಭಾಷೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ರಚಿಸಬೇಕು ಎಂದು ಅವರು ಅನುವಾದದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಲೇಷನ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ಅವರು ಗುರುತಿಸುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾವ ಭಾಷೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಅನುವಾದಗಳು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಲೇಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತಿರ್ತವೋ ಆ ಭಾಷೆ ಶ್ರೀಮಂತ ಭಾಷೆಯಾಗಿ ಬೆಳೀತದೆ ಎಂಬುದನ್ನು ಭಾರತೀಯವರು ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ಉದಾಹರಣೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಈಗ ಭಾರತೀಯವರಂತೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ನುಡಿಯ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅಪಾರವಾದ ಅಭಿಮಾನ ಕುವೆಂಪು ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ಅಭಿವ್ಯಕ್ತಗೊಂಡಿದೆ. ಕುವೆಂಪು ಅವರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯದ ಒಳ ಧ್ವನಿಗಳು ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರ ಒಳಿತು ಉದ್ಧಾರಗಳನ್ನೇ ಒಳಗೊಂಡಿರುವುದನ್ನು ಅರ್ಥಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಅವರು ವ್ಯಕ್ತಪಡಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ತನ್ನ ನಾಡಿನ ನಡೆನುಡಿ ತನ್ನ ತಾಯಿ ನುಡಿ ಎಂದು ಹಿಗ್ಗದ ಮಾನವನಿದ್ದರೆ ತಾವಿಲ್ಲವನಿಗೆ ನಾಕದಲ್ಲಿ ವೀರಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಂದು ತನ್ನ ದೇಶ ತನ್ನ ಭಾಷೆಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಹೆಮ್ಮೆ ಪಡೆದವನಿಗೆ ನರಕದಲ್ಲೂ ಸ್ಥಾನವಿಲ್ಲ ಎಂಬುದು ಕುವೆಂಪು ಅವರ ಅಭಿಮತವಾಗಿದೆ. ತಾಯಿ ನುಡಿಗಾಗಿ ದುಡಿದು ಮಡಿಯುವಂತೆ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರಿಗೆ ಕವಿ ಕುವೆಂಪು ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥಿಸುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಪಂಪರಣ್ಣರ, ಬಸವ ಹರಿಹರರ, ನಾರಣಪ್ಪ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀಸರ ಹಿರಿಮೆಯನ್ನು ಮರೆತಿಯಾದರೆ, ಅವರ ಕನ್ನಡವನ್ನು ಮರೆತಿಯಾದರೆ ಅದು ಸಾವಿಗೆ ಸಮಾನ ಎನ್ನುತ್ತಾರೆ ಕುವೆಂಪು ಅವರು. ಮತ್ತು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಪದ್ಯವನ್ನು ಅವರು ಹೀಗೆ ಕವಿತೆಯನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ: ಎಲ್ಲಾದರೂ ಇರು, ಎಂತಾದರೂ ಇರು, ಎಂದೆಂದಿಗೂ ನೀನು ಕನ್ನಡವಾಗಿರು, ಕನ್ನಡ ಗೋವಿನ ಹೋ ಮುದ್ದಿನ ಕರು, ಕನ್ನಡತನ ಹೊಂದಿದ್ದರೆ ನೀ ನಮಗೆ ಕಲ್ಪತರು ಎಂದು ಹೀಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಭಾಷೆಯ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮನಮುಟ್ಟುವಂತೆ ಕುವೆಂಪು ಅವರು ಹೇಳುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಇನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಹಲವಾರು ಕವಿತೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಭಾಷಾ ಪ್ರೇಮವನ್ನು ಮತ್ತು ದೇಶ ಪ್ರೇಮವನ್ನು ಅಭಿವ್ಯಕ್ತಪಡಿಸುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಹೀಗೆ ಭಾರತೀಯರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಕುವೆಂಪು ಇಬ್ಬರು ಸ್ವಾತಂತ್ರ್ಯ, ಸೌಹಾರ್ದತೆ ಮತ್ತು ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ, ಭಾಷಾ ಅಭಿಮಾನವನ್ನು ಕುರಿತು ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಮನೋಗುಣವಾಗಿ ಇವರಿಬ್ಬರು ಕೂಡ ಅಭಿವ್ಯಕ್ತಪಡಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಭಾರತೀಯ ಭಾಷಾ ದಿವಸ್ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಹಾಚೇತನಗಳಾದ ಭಾರತೀಯರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಕುವೆಂಪು ಅವರನ್ನು ಕುರಿತು ಮಾತನಾಡಲು ಅವಕಾಶವನ್ನು ಕಲ್ಪಿಸುವ ಹಾಗೂ ಮದ್ರಾಸ್ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ ಮತ್ತು ಮಧುರೈ ಕಾಮರಾಜ್ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯಕ್ಕೆ ನನ್ನನ್ನು ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿಕ್ ಕೌನ್ಸಿಲ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಆಗಿ ಗವರ್ನರ್ ನಾಮಿನಿಯಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಿರುವ ತಮಿಳುನಾಡು ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಗಣತವ್ಯತ್ತ ರಾಜ್ಯಪಾಲರಾದ ಶ್ರೀ RN ರವಿ ಸಾಹೇಬರಿಗೆ ಹೃತ್ಪೂರ್ವಕವಾದ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ಅರ್ಪಿಸುತ್ತಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಹಾಗೆಯೇ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರೀಯ ತಮಿಳು ಅಧ್ಯಯನ ಕೇಂದ್ರದ ನಿರ್ದೇಶಕರಾದ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಚಂದ್ರಶೇಖರನ್ ಸರ್ ಅವರಿಗೂ, ಉಪಾಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರಾದ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಸುಧಾ ಶೇಷಯ್ಯ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಅವರಿಗೂ ಮತ್ತು ಕುಲಸಚಿವರಾದ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಭುವನೇಶ್ವರ್ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಅವರಿಗೂ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಹೃತ್ಪೂರ್ವಕವಾದ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು, ಹಾಗೂ ನಿಮಗೂ ಮುಂದೆ ಕುಳಿತಿರುವ ಮತ್ತು ಕನ್ನಡ ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನು, ಈ ಕನ್ನಡ ನುಡಿಗಳನ್ನು ಕೇಳಿದ ನಿಮಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಹೃತ್ಪೂರ್ವಕವಾದ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ತಿಳಿಸುತ್ತಾ ನನ್ನ ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನು ಮುಗಿಸುತ್ತಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
Thank you, sir. We now welcome Professor Jayaprakash, who will deliver his speech on Bharatiyar Gurujada Apparao Tulantmaka Parisilana, a comparative study on Bharatiyar and Gurujada Apparao.
సభా సరస్వతికి నమస్కారం. వేదిక మీద ఆశీనులైనటువంటి తమిళనాడు గవర్నర్ హిజ్ ఎక్సలెన్సీ మాన్యశ్రీ మహోదయులు శ్రీ రవి గారికి, సెంట్రల్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్ ఆఫ్ క్లాసికల్ తమిళ్ చైర్పర్సన్ ఆచార్య సుధాశేషన్ గారికి, డైరెక్టర్ చంద్రశేఖరన్ గారికి, సెక్రటరీ గారికి, వేదిక ముందు ఆశీనులైనటువంటి సాహితీవేత్తలకు అందరికీ కూడా నా హృదయపూర్వక నమస్కారాలు. తెలుగులో మాట్లాడే అవకాశం కలిగించినందుకు ముఖ్యంగా సుబ్రహ్మణ్య భారతి గారికి చాలా ప్రీతిపాత్రమైనటువంటి సుందరమైన తెలుగులో ఇక్కడ మాట్లాడే అవకాశం నాకు కలిగినందుకు చాలా సంతోషిస్తున్నాను. సుబ్రహ్మణ్య భారతి అతని లేఖిని నుండి వెలువడిన ప్రతి అక్షరము, అతని నోటి నుండి వెలువడిన ప్రతి మాట సంఘ సంస్కారానికి, దేశభక్తికి, సమాజానికి, మానవ సమానత్వానికి కూడా ఆధారపడిందన్నమాట. ప్రతి ఒక్క మాట కూడా దాని దృష్టిలో పెట్టుకుని ఆయన రచనలు చేశారు. ఇక తెలుగులో అదే కాలంలో మనకు శ్రీ గురజాడ అప్పారావు గారు కనిపిస్తారు. ఆయన కూడా దేశభక్తికి సంబంధించి, సంఘ సంస్కరణకు సంబంధించి, వ్యవహారిక భాషా ఉద్యమానికి సంబంధించి, భారతీయ సంస్కృతి గురించి ఎన్నో రచనలు చేశారు. వీరిద్దరిని గురించి మనం కొద్దిగా పరిశీలిద్దాం. ముఖ్యంగా ఆ సుబ్రహ్మణ్య భారతి సమయంలో ఎలా ఉంది పరిస్థితి? అప్పుడు భారతదేశం అంతా కూడా బానిసత్వంలో ఉంది. ఆ బానిసత్వాన్ని చూసి సుబ్రహ్మణ్య భారతి ఎంతో తప్పించిపోయాడు. ఆ రోజుల్లో కవులు ఉండేవారు చాలామంది, భారతితో పాటు కవులు చాలామంది ఉండేవారు. అందరూ కూడా విక్టోరియా మహారాణి గురించి, జార్జి గురించి పద్యాలు రాసి, కవితలు రాసి డబ్బులు సంపాదించుకున్నారు. కానీ భారతి ఆ విధంగా చేయలేదు. నిరుపేదగా ఉన్నప్పటికీ కూడా, తను నిప్పచ్చరంగా ఉన్నప్పటికీ కూడా ఒక్కరోజు కూడా బ్రిటిష్ ప్రభుత్వాన్ని అతను పొగిడింది లేదు. ఆ విధంగా అతడు నిర్భీతిగా దేశభక్తిని గురించి ఎన్నో గేయాలు రాశాడు. ఆ గేయాలు చాలా అద్భుతమైనటువంటి గేయాలు. వాటి తెలుగు అనువాదాలు మాత్రమే నేను చెబుతాను. తమిళం అందరికీ తెలుసు కాబట్టి వాటి కొన్ని మాత్రమే నేను చెబుతాను. ముఖ్యంగా దేశభక్తి ప్రబోధిస్తూ, స్వాతంత్ర ఉద్యమాన్ని ప్రబోధిస్తూ ఎన్నో గేయాలు రాశాడు. ఎందు తనియం ఇంద స్వతంత్ర దాగం, దానికి తెలుగులో నేను చేసిన అనువాదం: ఎప్పుడు తీరు ఈ స్వాతంత్ర దాహం, ఎప్పుడు మడియు మా దాస్య మోహం, ఎప్పుడు మా తల్లి సంఖ్యలు ఊడిపోవు, ఎప్పుడు మా కష్టాలు తొలగిపోవు అని అతడు ప్రబోధించాడు. ఇంకా భారతి పేర్కొన్నటువంటి దేశభక్తి సంకుచితమైంది కాదు. అతడు దర్శించిన దేశం ఎటువంటిదంటే విశాలమైన భారతదేశం. అందరూ కూడా ఆ రోజుల్లో కవులు తమ భాష గురించి, తమ ప్రాంతాన్ని గురించి, తమ రాష్ట్రాన్ని గురించి చెబితే ఒక్క భారతి మాత్రమే విశాలమైన భారతదేశాన్ని దర్శించాడు. వడకెళ్ళి ఇమయమలి పాప, తెర్కిల్ వాళుం కుమరిమునై పాప, కిడక్కుం పెరియ కడల్ కండాయ్, ఇదన్ కిళక్కిலும் మేర్కిலும் పాప అని విశాలమైన భారతదేశాన్ని దర్శించినటువంటి మహాకవి, విశ్వకవి మన సుబ్రహ్మణ్య భారతి గారు. భారత జాతి వర్ధిల్లాలి, 30 కోట్ల జన సమూహం, సమగ్రతకిది ప్రతిరూపం, సాటి ఎరుగని జన సమూహం, జాతికే ఇది ఆభరణం అని అద్భుతమైనటువంటి కవితలు వెలువరించారు. అఖండ భారతదేశంలో ప్రజలందరూ సోదరుల వలె ఎలా మెలగాలో చెప్పాడు. భారతదేశం మనకు అంతా ఉంది, విభిన్నమైనటువంటి భాషలు మాట్లాడే వాళ్ళు ఉన్నారు, విభిన్న రాష్ట్రాల వాళ్ళు ఉన్నారు, వీళ్ళందరూ ఎలా మెలగాలి మనకు అద్భుతమైన పద్యం. ఆ రోజుల్లో ఇటువంటి పద్యం రాసిన వాళ్ళు, ఇటువంటి కవిత రాసిన వాళ్ళు తెలుగు సాహిత్యంలోనే కాదు, తమిళ సాహిత్యంలోనే కాదు, భారతీయ భాషల్లోనే ఎవరూ రాయలేదు. అటువంటి అఖండ భారతదేశాన్ని దర్శించాడు. మీకు తెలుసు, సింగళ దీవికూరు పాలం అమైపోం, సేతువై మేడురుత్తి వీధి సమైపోం అని చెప్పాడు కదా. దాని తెలుగు అనువాదం మాత్రం నేను చదువుతాను. గంగై సింగళ దీవికి సేతువు కట్టేము, సేతువునేమో వీధికి తీర్చేము, వంగదేశపు మిగులు నీటితో మధ్య దేశంలో పంటలు పండించేము, గంగా తీరపు గోధుమ పంటకు కావేరీ తమలపాకులు ఇచ్చేము, సింహచూళ్ళులు మహారాష్ట్రుల కవితకు చేరదేశపు దంతాలను బహుకరించేము, కాశీ పండితులు చేసే చర్చలు కంచిలో వినిపించేలా చేసేము, రాజపుత్ర వీరాగ్రణులకు కన్నడ బంగారం కానుక ఇచ్చేము అని ఈ విధంగా ఒక అఖండమైన భారతదేశాన్ని, అందులో సామరస్యంతో కూడినటువంటి వివిధ రాష్ట్రాల ప్రజలు సోదర భావంతో ఉండాలనే ఆశతో ఇటువంటి అద్భుతమైనటువంటి కవితను రచించారు. ఈ గేయంలోనే మనకు సుందరమైనటువంటి తెలుగు భాషను కూడా ప్రశంసించాడు. సుందరమైన తేట తెలుగులో పాటలు పాడుకుంటూ పడవలో విహారం చేద్దాము అనే ఒక అద్భుతమైనటువంటి ఆశ కూడా ఆయన కనిపించాడు. కవయ క్రాంతదర్శ అంటారు. కవి ఎప్పుడు కూడా రాబోయే భవిష్యత్ కాలాన్ని తన గురించి అతను ఆలోచిస్తూ ఉంటాడు. దాని గురించి అతడు కవితల్లో చెబుతూ ఉంటాడు. స్వాతంత్రం వచ్చిన తర్వాత భారతదేశం ఎలా ఉండాలో అని చెప్పినటువంటి కవి ఎవరూ లేరు. భారతదేశంలో ఒక్క సుబ్రహ్మణ్య భారతి మాత్రమే స్వాతంత్రం రావడానికి ముందుగానే స్వాతంత్రం వచ్చింది అని ఒక కలగన్నాడు. అటువంటి కళను ఏ విధంగా చూశాడు. ఆడువోమే పళ్ళు పాడువోమే ఆనంద సుతంత్రం అడంది విట్టోమనరు. అప్పటి స్వాతంత్రం రాలా, ఇతను చనిపోయిన నాటికే అతను స్వాతంత్రమే రాలేదు, తర్వాత చాలా కాలానికి వచ్చింది, అయినా కూడా స్వాతంత్రం వచ్చింది అని ఒక అద్భుతమైనటువంటి ఒక గేయాన్ని పాడాడు. దాన్ని మనం చెప్తాము. దానికి ఈ విధంగా దార్శనిక దృక్పథంతో మనకు రచించినటువంటి కవులు ఎవరూ లేరు. తర్వాత ఆయన దర్శించిన రూపకల్పన గావించిన భారతమాత అపూర్వమైంది. సెప్పుమొళి పదినెటుడియాల్ ఎనిన్ సిందన ఒండుడియాల్. అప్పుడే భారతదేశం ఒకటే, భారతమాత ఒకటే అని ఆ విధంగా అపూర్వమైనటువంటి ఒక దర్శన అతనిలో కనిపిస్తూ ఉంది. ముఖ్యంగా ఈ కవితను దృష్టిలో పెట్టుకొని డాక్టర్ సర్వేపల్లి రాధాకృష్ణ గారు ఇండియన్ లిటరేచర్ ఈజ్ వన్ దో రిటర్న్ ఇన్ మెనీ లాంగ్వేజెస్ అని చెప్పగలిగారు. తెలుగు సాహిత్యంలో కూడా ఇదే విధంగా సుబ్రహ్మణ్య భారతి కాలంలోనే మనకు గురజాడ అప్పారావు గారు కనిపిస్తారు. ఆయన కూడా దేశభక్తి కవితలు ఎన్నో రాశారు. దేశమును ప్రేమించుమన్నా, మంచి అన్నది పెంచుమన్నా, ఒట్టి మాటలు కట్టిపెట్టోయి, గట్టిమేల్ తలపెట్టబోయి, స్వంత లాభం కొంత మానుకు పొరుగువాడికి తోడ్పడబోయి, దేశాభిమానం నాకు కద్దని వట్టి గొప్పలు చెప్పకోయి, పూని ఏదైనాను ఒక మేలు కూర్చి జనులకు చూపబోయి, దేశమంటే మట్టి కాదోయ్, దేశమంటే మనుషులోయ్ అని ఒక అద్భుతమైనటువంటి గేయాన్ని ఆయన రచించారు. ఇక ఈ సుబ్రహ్మణ్య భారతిలో కనిపించే ఒక ముఖ్యమైన అంశం ఏంటంటే సర్వమత సమానత్వం. అన్ని మతాలని సమానంగా చూశాడు. ముఖ్యంగా హిందూ దేవతలకు సంబంధించి ఎన్నో స్తోత్ర గీతాలు రాశాడు. అదేవిధంగా అతడు అల్లా మీద, యేసుక్రీస్తు మీద, గురు గోబింద్ సింగ్ మీద, ఈ విధంగా అన్ని మతాల మీద రాశారు. ఎక్కడ కూడా అతను మత పక్షపాతం ఎక్కడా చూపించలేదు. ఎల్లారం ఓర్ కులం, ఎల్లారం ఓర్ ఇనం, ఎల్లారం ఇందియ మక్కల్ అని ఒక సర్వమత సమానత్వాన్ని చెప్పాడు. అందరిది ఒకే కులం, అందరిది ఒకే జాతి, అందరూ భారతీయ ప్రజలే, అందరూ ఒక సమూహమే, అందరూ మన దేశ ప్రజలే, మనమందరం ఈ దేశ నాయకులమే, అవును మనమందరం ఈ దేశ నాయకులమే అని ఒక అద్భుతమైన చెప్పాడు. ఈ సర్వమత సమానత్వం పెద్దల్లోనే కాదు, చిన్నపిల్లల పాటల్లో కూడా అతడు ఆ భావాలను చూపించాడు. ఓడి వెళియాడు పాప, జాతిగలి ఇల్లేడ పాప అని చిన్నపిల్లల పాటల్లో కూడా అతడు జాతి మతాల భేదాలు చూడకూడదని చిన్నపిల్లలోనే చెప్పాడు. తర్వాత నిమ్న జాతి, ఉన్నత జాతి అనే భేదభావం చూపడం పాపం. న్యాయం, ఎక్కడైతే న్యాయం, ఉన్నతమైన ఆలోచన, విద్య, ప్రేమభావం, అదే నీది ఉయర్ందమది, కల్వి, అన్బు, నిరియ ఉడేవర్గలు ఎవరైతే ఉన్నారో వాళ్ళే ఉన్నతులు అని ఒక అద్భుతమైనటువంటి ఒక రూపకల్పన చేశాడు. గురజాడ అప్పారావు కూడా అదే తెలుగు సాహిత్యంలో గురజాడ అప్పారావు కూడా కులమత భేదాలు నిరసిస్తూ కాసులు లవణరాజు కళ అని మొదలైన కవితా ఖండికలు రాశారు. అందులో అన్నదమ్ముల వలెను జాతులు మతములన్నీ మెలగవలనోయి, మతం వేరైతేని ఏమోయి, మంచి చెడ్డలు మనుజులందన ఎంచి చూడగ రెండే కులములు, మంచి అన్నది మాలయైతే మాలన ఎగుదను అని ఒక చెప్పాడు. ఇంకా కులము లేదట ఒక్క వేటున పసురముల హింసించు వారికి, కులము కలదట నరు వ్రేచడి కుర కర్ములకను, మలిన దేహుల మాలలనుచును మలిన చిత్తుల కధిక కులముల నెలవసంగిన వర్ణధర్మ ధర్మంబే, మనిషి చేసిన రాయిరప్పకి మహిమ కలదును సాగి మొక్కుచు, మనుషులంటే రాయిరప్పల కన్నా కనిష్టంగా చూస్తావేల బేల. అంతేకాదు ఎల్లలోకము ఒక్క ఇల్లై వర్ణభేదములెల్ల కల్లై వేల నెరుగని ప్రేమబంధము వేడుకలు కురయా. యావత్ ప్రపంచాన్ని ఒక కుటుంబంగా ఒక గృహంగా భావించాడు గురజాడ అప్పారావు. ఇక ఇందులో ముఖ్యంగా సుబ్రహ్మణ్య భారతిలో ఆ రోజుల్లో కనిపించే స్త్రీ స్వాతంత్రానికి సంబంధించి ఎన్నో రచనలు చేశాడు. ముఖ్యంగా ఆ రోజుల్లో స్త్రీల పరిస్థితి ఎలా ఉండేది? 19వ శతాబ్దంలో స్త్రీలు చదువుకునే అవకాశం లేదు. బాల్య వివాహాలు అధికంగా జరుగుతుండేది. బాల్య వివాహాల కారణంగా భర్తలు చనిపోయి చిన్న వయసులోనే వితంతులయ్యేవారు. ఆ వితంతుల యొక్క పరిస్థితి ఎలా ఉండేదో మనకు చాలా పుస్తకాలు మనకు తెలుస్తుంది. ఊహించిన కూడా ఊహించలేము. అటువంటి దారుణమైన పరిస్థితిని చూసి సుబ్రహ్మణ్య భారతి కన్నీరు కార్చాడు. ఎన్నో కవితల్లో స్త్రీలు చదువుకోవాలని, వాళ్ళు కూడా పురుషులతో సమానంగా ఉండాలని చేశాడు. అంతేకాకుండా నవల కూడా రాశారు. చంద్రకేన్ నవల కథలో ఆ నవలలో ఉండే ముఖ్యమైన ఇతివృత్తం ఏంటంటే వితంతు వాహనమే ప్రధానమైన ఇతివృత్తం. అది దాని గురించి తర్వాత చెప్తాను. ఇక అంతేకాకుండా కుమ్మియడి ఒక కవిత కూడా రాశాడు. నమ్మై పిడిత్త పిశాజిగలు పోయిన నన్మై కండోం என்று కుమ్మియడి అని ఒక కవిత కూడా రాశాడు. తర్వాత గురజాడ అప్పారావు కూడా స్త్రీ పురుషులు సమానమే అని చెబుతూ ఎన్నో కవితలు రచించాడు. భార్యాభర్తల స్నేహంతో మెలగాలని, హెచ్చుతగ్గులు ఉండకూడదని చెప్పాడు. కన్యాశుల్కం అనే నాటకమే రాశాడు ప్రత్యేకంగా. చాలా అద్భుతమైన ఆ రోజుల్లో భారతీయ భాషల్లో వచ్చినటువంటి వ్యవహారిక భాషలో వచ్చినటువంటి అద్భుతమైన నాటకం కన్యాశుల్క నాటకం. ఇందులో పూర్తిగా కూడా వివాహానికి సంబంధించినటువంటి నాటకం ఇది. ఇక భారతిలో ఉన్నటువంటి ముఖ్యమైన ఒక అంశం ఏంటంటే ఆ రోజు కవుల్లో అందరూ కూడా సంప్రదాయబద్ధమైనటువంటి కఠినమైన నిఘంటులో మాత్రమే లభించే పదాలతో వాళ్ళు కవితలు రాసేవారు. కానీ అలా కాదు, వాడుక భాషలో అందరికీ అర్థమయ్యే భాషలో సుబ్రహ్మణ్య భారతి కవితలు చదువుతుంటే ఎక్కడ కూడా మన డిక్షనరీ వెతకాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు, నిఘంటులు అవసరమే లేదు, సామాన్య నాలాంటి వాడికే అర్థమవుతుంది. అటువంటి సులభమైనటువంటి కవితలు రాశాడు. అందుకే అది అంత ప్రాచుర్యం సంపాదించింది. ఆ విధంగా గురజాడ అప్పారావు కూడా వ్యవహారిక భాషలోనే కవితలు రాశాడు. అతని నవలలు కానీ కథలు కానీ నాటకాలు కానీ అన్నీ కూడా వ్యవహారిక భాషలోనే సాగింది. ఇక ముఖ్యంగా ఈ ఇద్దరి కవుల్లో మనం చూసామంటే భారతీయ సంస్కృతి మీద ఇద్దరికి కూడా అచంచలమైన ఒక పెద్ద అభిమానం. వీళ్ళిద్దరికీ కూడా భారతీయ సంస్కృతిని కాపాడాలని, సనాతన ధర్మం అనుస్యూతంగా కొనసాగాలని ఇద్దరు కూడా రచనలు చేశారు. ఇద్దరు కూడా మనం చూసామంటే భారతి ప్రాచీనమైనటువంటి ఎన్నో అంశాలను తీసుకుని పాంచాలి శబ్దం తర్వాత ఇటువంటి అంశాలను తీసుకొని తను రాశాడు. ఎక్కడ సందర్భం దొరికినప్పుడంతా కూడా భారతదేశం చాలా గొప్ప దేశం, వేద ఋషులు ప్రభవించిన దేశం అంటూ భారతదేశాన్ని గురించి ప్రస్తావించాడు. భారతీయ సంస్కృతిని గురించి, వేద ఋషుల యొక్క మనకు అందించిపోయినటువంటి విజ్ఞానాన్ని గురించి, వేదాల గురించి, ఉపనిషత్తుల గురించి అద్భుతంగా భారతి గారు పెంచారు. అవన్నీ కూడా మనం కాపాడుకోవాల్సిన అవసరం ఉంది ఆ సంస్కృతి అంటూ చెప్పాడు. భారత వీరులు వరణ దేశం, అదో చూడండి, భారత వీరర్ మలిందనన్నాడు అని. భారత వీరులు వరణ దేశం ముళ్ళెందరో నివసించిన బంగారు దేశం అంటూ భారతదేశాన్ని గురించి వర్ణించాడు. ఈ విధంగా ఈ జగత్తును సమానంగా చూడాలని చెప్పాడు. ఇక భారతికి తెలుగుకు ఉన్న సంబంధం గురించి ఒక రెండు వాక్యాలు చెప్పేసి నా ముగిస్తాను. భారతికి చిన్నప్పటి నుంచే తెలుగుతో పరిచయం ఏర్పడింది. భారతి పుట్టి పెరిగింది ఎట్టయాపురం సంస్థానం. ఎట్టయాపురంలో తెలుగు చాలా మాట్లాడేవాళ్ళు చాలామంది ఉన్నారు. ముఖ్యంగా ఈ నాయకరాజులు అంతరించిపోయిన తర్వాత కవులు కళాకారులు ఈ సంస్థానాలలో చేరుకున్నారు. అక్కడ ఎట్టయాపురం సంస్థానంలో ముఖ్యంగా యక్షగానాలు, ఈ వీధి భాగవతాలు జరగడం వల్ల సుబ్రహ్మణ్య భారతికి చిన్నప్పటి నుండి తెలుగుతో పరిచయం ఏర్పడింది. తర్వాత అతను మద్రాసు వచ్చిన తర్వాత కూడా అతను చాలా వ్యాసాల్లో తెలుగు సంబంధించి చాలా అభిప్రాయించాడు. ముఖ్యంగా పోతన భారతాన్ని గురించి చెప్పుకున్నాడు. ముఖ్యంగా చంద్రికే గత గురించి చెప్పాలంటే చంద్రికే కథలో ప్రధాన పాత్రలు వీరేశలింగం ఆ రోజుల్లో దక్షిణ భారతదేశంలో మొట్టమొదటిసారిగా వితంతు వివాహాన్ని జరిపించినటువంటి ఒక గొప్ప మహనీయుడు. అతన్ని ప్రధాన పాత్రగా చేసుకొని అతను మాత్రమే కాదు అతని భార్య వీరేశలింగం భార్య రాజ్యలక్ష్మి వీళ్ళిద్దరిని ప్రధాన పాత్రలు చేసుకొని ఆ చంద్రికేని కథలో నవల రచించాడు. ఆ చంద్రికే నవల యొక్క ఇతివృత్తం ఇంతకుముందే చెప్పాను, అది వితంతు వివాహానికి సంబంధించింది. ఈ విధంగా గురజాడ సుబ్రహ్మణ్య భారతి కవితల్లో ఇంచుమించు మనకు సమాన భావాలే కనిపిస్తాయి. ఇక ముఖ్యంగా నా ఉపన్యాసాన్ని ఇంతటితో ముగిస్తాను. ముఖ్యంగా భారతదేశానికి ఒక తమిళ దేశానికి ఒక భారతదేశానికి సంబంధించిన వ్యక్తి కాదు, యావత్ ప్రపంచానికి సంబంధించినటువంటి వ్యక్తి. కాబట్టి ఆ యొక్క రచనల్ని భారతీయ యొక్క రచనల్ని మనందరూ కాపాడుకోవాల్సిన అవసరం ఉంది. అంతేకాకుండా ఇతర భాషలకు మనం అనువదించాలి. భారతీయ యొక్క కవితలు ఇంతవరకు రాలేదు. భారతి గారి రచనలు ఎన్ని ఉన్నాయో అంటే దాదాపు నాకు తెలిసి ఒక 1000 పేజీల వరకు నవల ఒకే ఒక నవల అసంపూర్ణమైన నవల, కానీ కథలు చాలా ఉన్నాయి, వ్యాసాలు ఉన్నాయి. ఇవన్నీ కూడా మనం ఇతర భాషల్లో తీసుకురావాల్సిన అవసరం ఉందని చెబుతూ నాకు ఈ అవకాశం ఇచ్చినటువంటి మీ అందరికీ ఈ కార్యవర్గానికి అందరికీ నా హృదయపూర్వక నమస్కారాలు తెలియజేస్తున్నాను. నమస్కారం.
Thank you, sir. We now welcome Dr. Ayyappan Kariyat, who will deliver his speech on Mahakavi Vallatholum, Mahakavi Bharathiyarum in Malayalam.
వాగర్థావివ సంపృక్తో వాగర్థ ప్రతిపత్తయే జగదప్పితరో వందే పార్వతీ പരമേശ്വരോ. ഗഗനം ഗഗനാകാരം സാഗരം സാഗരവും എന്നൊരു ചൊല്ലുണ്ട്. അങ്ങനെ സമാനതകളില്ലാത്ത രണ്ട് മഹാരഥന്മാരാണ് മഹാകവി വള്ളത്തോൾ നാരായണമേനോനും മഹാകവി സുബ്രഹ്മണ്യ ഭാരതീയരും. അഭൗമമായ വ്യക്തിപ്രഭാവം, വിശ്വസാഹിത്യ വിഹായ നിത്യതാരകങ്ങൾ, അത്തരം സമാനതകളില്ലാത്ത അവർ ചില സമാനതകൾ മാത്രം ഇവിടെ അനുസ്മരിക്കാൻ ഭാരതീയ ഭാഷ ദിനത്തിൽ സമാനതയില്ലാത്ത രണ്ട് വ്യക്തിപ്രഭാവങ്ങളുടെ ബഹുമാന്യ തമിഴ്നാട് ഗവർണർ മഹാശയനും ക്ലാസിക്കൽ തമിഴ് അധികൃതർക്കും ആദ്യമായി എൻ്റെ അഗാധമായ നന്ദി രേഖപ്പെടുത്തിക്കൊള്ളുന്നു. സ്വന്തമായ കാവ്യതലജങ്ങളാലും ഭാഷാന്തരീകരണങ്ങളാലും അധ്യാപക വൃത്തിയിനാലും തങ്ങളുടെ മാതൃഭാഷയെ സമ്പുഷ്ടമാക്കിയ മഹാരഥന്മാരാണ് ഇരുവരും. ദേശീയ ഭാഷാ പഠനം, ഇളം വയസ്സിലെ ബഹുമതി, അധ്യാപക വൃത്തി, ഒന്നിലധികം പത്രപ്രവർത്തനം, സ്വാതന്ത്ര്യ സമര ചിന്തകൾ, കവിതകളിലൂടെ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ വൈശിഷ്ട്യം, സ്ത്രീ സമത്വം എന്നിവ, അവരുടെ ഭാഷാന്തരീകരണം എന്നിവ എല്ലാം സമാനതയില്ലാത്ത പ്രവർത്തന മേഖലകളാകുന്നു. ഇരുവരുടെയും ചില പ്രഭാവസൂനങ്ങൾ മാത്രം ക്യാപ്സുൽ രൂപത്തിൽ ഇവിടെ അവതരിപ്പിക്കാൻ ശ്രമിക്കാം. ഒരേ കാലഘട്ടത്തിൽ പ്രവർത്തിച്ചിരുന്നവരാണ് ഇരുവരും. വള്ളത്തോൾ 1878, സുബ്രഹ്മണ്യ 1882. വള്ളത്തോൾ 12-ാം വയസ്സിലെ ഛന്ദോബദ്ധിതമായ കിരാതശതകം എന്ന കാവ്യം രചിച്ച് പ്രാവീണ്യം തെളിയിച്ചു. ഭാരതിയാർ 11-ാം വയസ്സിൽ തന്നെ തൻ്റെ വാക്ചാദ്യ തെളിയിച്ച് എട്ടയപുരം സംസ്ഥാനത്തിന് ഭാരതി എന്ന വാഗ്ദേവി കലൈവാണി ബഹുമതി നേടി. വാൽമീകി രാമായണം, ഋഗ്വേദം, ആരോഗ്യകൽപ്പത്തിനും ആയുർവേദ ഗ്രന്ഥം, ശാകുന്തളനാളിയും തർജ്ജമ ചെയ്ത് ഭാഷയെ സമ്പുഷ്ടമാക്കിയതാണ് മഹാകവി വള്ളത്തോൾ. ഭാരതിയാർ അതുപോലെ തന്നെ ഭഗവത്ഗീത, പതഞ്ജലി യോഗസൂത്രം, ടാഗോർ ചെറുകഥകൾ എന്നിവ ഭാഷാന്തരീകരണം നടത്തി ഭാഷയെ സമ്പുഷ്ടമാക്കി. മറ്റ് കൃതികളെക്കുറിച്ചും അനുസ്മരിക്കാം. വള്ളത്തോളിൻ്റെ കൃതികളായിട്ട് കീചകവധം, വിതുരവിലാപം, വിലാസലതിക, ഉണ്ണാനില്ല ഉടുപ്പാനില്ല, ഗണപതി, കൊച്ചു സീത, അങ്ങനെ പലതും, ചിത്രയോഗം, മഹാകാവ്യം, അങ്ങനെ. ഭാരത ചില ഉദാഹരണങ്ങൾ മാത്രം തെളിയിക്കാം രണ്ടുപേരുമായും ഉള്ള സമാനതകൾ. ഭാരതമെന്നവർ കേട്ടാൽ അഭിമാനപൂരിതമാകണം മന്ദരംഗം എന്നിവ. പട്ടുമെത്തയേക്കാളും ഇഷ്ടമായി വാഗ്ദേവിക്ക് ശിഷ്ടരാം അവരുടെ ദർഭപ്പുൽ വിരിപ്പുതാൾ. അങ്ങനെ ദേശാഭിമാനത്തിൽ തുടർന്നുള്ള എത്രയോ ഉദാഹരണങ്ങൾ. ദേശീയ പതാകയെക്കുറിച്ച് പോരാ നാളിൽ ദൂരാ മുയരട്ടെ എന്നിങ്ങനെയുള്ള പാട്ട് സമാനമാണ്. തായിൻ മണിക്കൊടി പാറിയർ அதை தாழ்ந்து பணிந்திட வாரீர் വന്ദേ മാതരം என்போம் എന്നുള്ള പാട്ടുകൾ. കവിത്വത്തിലേക്ക് കടന്നാൽ മേലാകവേ ചെല്ലിളകി കിതപ്പാൽ സ്ഥൂലാസ്ഥി പാർശ്വങ്ങൾ ഉയർന്നു താഴ്ന്നും കോലായിൽ ഏതാണ്ട് നമസ്കരിച്ച പോലായി കിടപ്പുണ്ടൊരു സാരമേയം എന്നിങ്ങനെ. ബ്രിട്ടീഷ് മേൽക്കോൽമയിൽ ആകുന്ന ചൂടിനാൽ തികച്ചും നീറുപറ്റിയതായിരുന്ന ഭാരതഭൂമി ആ നില ഒടുങ്ങുമെന്ന പ്രതീക്ഷ. ചളികൾ പോലെ ചെയ്ത നേതാക്കൾ, മുകിലുകൾക്കുള്ളിൽ മിന്നൽ പെട്ട പോലെ ചെയ്ത നേതാക്കൾ. ബന്ധുരം കാഞ്ചന കുട്ടിലാലിംഗനം ബന്ധനം ബന്ധനം തന്നെ പാരി. താരകമണിമാല ചാർത്തിയാൽ അതും കൊള്ളാം, ചാരണിച്ചാൽ നീളെ പുരണ്ടാൽ അതും കൊള്ളാമെന്ന സമാനതയില്ലാത്ത ഗാന്ധിജിയുടെ വിവരണങ്ങൾ ശ്രദ്ധേയമാണ്. കേരളത്തിലെ അക്കാലത്തെ അതിർത്തിയെ പരാമർശിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് പച്ചയാമ്പിരപ്പെട്ട സഖിരൻ തലചായ്ച്ച് എന്നുള്ള വരികളിൽ ആഴിവീജികൾ അനുവേലം വെണ്ണുരകളാൽ തോഴികൾ പോലെ തവ ചാരിതൃപദങ്ങളിൽ തൂ വെള്ളിച്ചിലമ്പ് ഇടിപ്പിക്കുന്നു, തൃപ്തി കൈവരാഞ്ഞഴിക്കുന്നു, പിന്നെയും തുടരുന്നു. അങ്ങനെ തൂവള്ളിച്ചിലമ്പുകൾ തേടിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്ന ആ തിരകളെക്കുറിച്ചുള്ള വിവരണ തികച്ചും ശ്രദ്ധേയമാണ്. പലതരത്തിലുള്ള മനോഹരമായ സ്വഭാവോക്തി, ഉപമ, ഉൽപ്രേക്ഷ, രൂപകാലങ്കാരങ്ങൾ തിങ്ങിയിരിക്കുന്നത്. വേദാധികാരത്തിലേക്ക് കടന്നാൽ ഋഗ്വേദം തർജ്ജമ ചെയ്തു. പുരാണങ്ങളിലേക്ക് കടന്നാൽ വാൽമീകി രാമായണം തർജ്ജമ. ഹൈന്ദവ പുരാണങ്ങൾ മാത്രമല്ല മഗ്ദലിന മറിയവും അല്ലാഹുവും കാവ്യവിഷയമാക്കിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. കൊച്ചി രാജാവിന് കവിതിലകൻ എന്ന ബഹുമതി, മദ്രാസ് സംസ്ഥാനത്തിൻ്റെ ആസ്ഥാന കവിത എന്ന ബഹുമതി മാത്രമല്ല അതിനുപരി അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് പത്മഭൂഷൺ ബഹുമതിയും നൽകി ഇന്ത്യ ഗവൺമെൻറ് ആദരിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. സാഹിത്യം മാത്രമല്ല സംഗീതവും കലകളും ഉദ്ധരിക്കാൻ കലാമണ്ഡലം സ്ഥാപിച്ച് സ്മര്യപുരുഷൻ്റെ പ്രഭാവം പ്രതിഫലിക്കുന്നു. ഇനി ഭാരതീയയുടെ തനി സംഭവം നോക്കാം. 11ാം വയസ്സിൽ തന്നെ വാക്ച തെളിയിച്ച് എട്ടയപുരം സംസ്ഥാനം ഭാരതീയ സരസ്വതി പര്യായമല കലാവാണി എന്ന പട്ടം നൽകി. അധ്യാപകവൃത്തി, പത്രപ്രവർത്തനം എന്നിവ സമാനതകളാണ്. 26ാം വയസ്സിൽ ആദ്യ കവിതാ സമാഹാരം. ഇന്ത്യ പത്രത്തിൽ സ്വാതന്ത്ര്യചിന്തകൾ കനലായി പരത്തിയതിന് അറസ്റ്റ് മുതിർന്നപ്പോൾ ബ്രിട്ടീഷുകാരുടെ കരാളഹസ്തങ്ങളിൽ കുടുങ്ങാതെ പാണ്ഡിച്ചേരിയും മറ്റും ഒളിവിൽ താമസിച്ചതായി അറിയുന്നു. സ്വാതന്ത്ര്യചിന്തനും സമത്വത്തിനും വിദ്യാഭ്യാസത്തിനും അദ്ദേഹം ഊന്നൽ നൽകിയിരുന്നു. പാഞ്ചാലി ശബദം ഖണ്ഡകാവ്യത്തിലൂടെ ഭാരതമാതാവിൻ്റെ അക്കാലത്തെ ദുസ്ഥിതി വിവരിച്ചു. കാപട്യം, ചൂതുകളി, അടിമത്തം, വസ്ത്രാക്ഷേപം, ശബദം എന്നിങ്ങനെ 5 പടലങ്ങളായി ഭാരതമാതാവ് അനുഭവിച്ച ദുരിതങ്ങളെ വിവരിക്കുകയുണ്ടായി. തമിഴ്, സംസ്കൃതം, ഇംഗ്ലീഷ്, ഹിന്ദി, ബംഗാളി, തെലുങ്ക് എന്നീ ഭാഷകളിൽ പ്രാവീണ്യം തെളിയിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിലും സ്വന്തം മാതൃഭാഷയായി സ്നേഹിച്ചിട്ടുള്ളത് തമിഴിനെ മാത്രമാണ്. യാമരെന്ന മൊഴികളിലെ തമിഴ് മൊഴി പോൽ ഇനി താവതെ കാണും നേടിയതെന്തായി അവതരിപ്പിച്ച ഭാഷാസ്നേഹിയാണ്. ഭാവനാസമ്പത്തും ഭാഷാ പരിജ്ഞാനവും ദേശാഭിമാനവും സ്വാതന്ത്ര്യചിന്തയും സ്ത്രീ ഉന്നമനത്തിനുള്ള ആഹ്വാനം കവിതകളിലൂടെ ശാഖോപശാഖകളെ പുഷ്പിച്ചു. സ്വദേശമിത്രം മറ്റു പല പത്രപ്രവർത്തനങ്ങളിൽ പ്രവർത്തിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. വന്ദേ മാതരം என்போம் എങ്കൽ മാനിലത്തായെ വണങ്കുതം என்போம் എന്നീ ഭക്തികൾ ഭാരതമെന്നവർ കേട്ടാൽ അഭിമാനപൂരിതമാകണം അന്തരംഗം എന്നതിനോട് ഉപമിക്കാവുന്നതാണ്. മറ്റു പല കൃതികളും ചിലത് അനുസ്മരിക്കാം. ചിന്നഞ്ചിരിക്കളിയെ കണ്ണമ്മ, ഓടി വിളയാട് പാപ്പ, പൊയ് ചൊല്ലക്കൂടാതെ പാപ്പ, ചെമ്പഴി നാടനും പോതിനിലെ ഇമ്പത്തേൻ വന്ന് പായത് കാതിനിലെ എന്നിവയെല്ലാം ഒരു പാന ചോற்றுക്ക് ഒരു ചോറ് പദം എന്ന് ചൊല്ലുകിன்ற പോലെ നാം ഇവിടെ പ്രശംസിക്കേണ്ടിയിരിക്കുന്നു. ബംഗാളിൽ നദി നാടെങ്ങും പാഞ്ഞ് സമൃദ്ധിയായിട്ടുള്ള നദികൾ ദേശീയവൽക്കരിക്കുന്ന പദ്ധതി ഇവിടെയാണ് ആദ്യം നാം വിട്ടത്. മിക മതിപ്പുടൻ വാഴ്ന്ന മനിതർക്ക് നേരം അപമാനം മരണത്തെക്കാൾ കൊടുമയാണത് എന്ന് വള്ളുവരുടെ വാക്യം സ്വന്തം കവിതയോട് പ്രതിഫലിപ്പിച്ചു. ഭഗവത്ഗീതയും പതഞ്ജലി യോഗസൂത്രവും ടാഗോറിൻ്റെ കൃതികളും മറ്റു ഭാഷകളിലെ മാധുര്യം രുചിക്കാനായി ഇവിടെ ഇദ്ദേഹം വേദിയൊരുക്കി. എന്തു പറയണം. മാത്രമല്ല ഹിന്ദുധർമ്മം, ചന്ദ്രികയും അതേ, പൊൻവാൾ നരി, 6ൽ 1 പങ്ക് എന്നീ അമൂല്യ ഗ്രന്ഥങ്ങൾ നമുക്കിവിടെ സ്പർശിക്കാനുള്ള സമയക്കുറവ് കൊണ്ട് അതിലേക്ക് കിടക്കുന്നില്ല. സാധാരണക്കാർ മുണ്ടാശി കവി, മീശക്കവി, പാട്ടുക്കൊരു കവി എന്നെല്ലാം അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് ഓമനപ്പേരിട്ട് വിളിച്ചു. മഹത്തായ വിജ്ഞാന ഭണ്ഡാരങ്ങളായി കവി സാർവഭൗമന്മാരെ ഈ ഒരു ചെറു പ്രസംഗത്തിലൂടെ ഉൾക്കൊള്ളിക്കാൻ കഴിയില്ല എന്നെനിക്കറിയാം. ഈ മഹാസാഗരങ്ങളെ ഒരു ചെറു ചഷകത്തിലാക്കി ജനസമക്ഷം സമർപ്പിച്ചുകൊള്ളുന്നു. ഈ ഒരു അസുലഭ സന്ദർഭത്തിന് വേദിയൊരുക്കി തന്ന ആദരണീയായ മഹാനായ ഗവർണർക്കും മഹാനായ ക്ലാസിക്കൽ അധികൃതർക്കും നന്ദിയും കൃതജ്ഞതയും രേഖപ്പെടുത്തിക്കൊള്ളുന്നു. ഈ വെള്ളത്തോളം സുബ്രഹ്മണ്യ ഭാരതീയരും എന്ന ഈ ചെറു പ്രസംഗത്തെ ഒരു ചെറു ചൊപ്പിലാക്കി എല്ലാ വിദ്വാൻമാരുടെയും സഹോദരന്മാരുടെയും മുമ്പിൽ സമർപ്പിച്ചുകൊള്ളുന്നു. ജയ് ഹിന്ദ്. നമസ്തേ.
Thank you, sir. We now welcome Professor B.K. Panda, who will deliver his speech on classical heritage of Tamil and Odia in Odia language.
इला सरस्वती मही तिस्रदेवीर्मयर्भवः बहिर्सिद्धं तम सिद्धाः. इला मातृसंस्कृति मही मातृभूमि and Saraswati Matrubhasha, these three goddesses blessed on us. His Excellency, Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, all dignitaries of Rajbhavan, respected Secretary to Governor, respected Madam, respected Director of the Central Institute of Classical Tamil, all invited guests and speakers, ladies and gentlemen, today is the auspicious birthday of Mahakavi Subramaniam Bharati. We observe it as Bharatiya Bhasha Divas. As suggested in National Education Policy 2020, the unity of Indian languages must be cherished under Ek Bharat, Shrestha Bharat. The significance of Indian language family with their common phonetics, grammatical structure, and their origin and sources of vocabulary from classical languages and inter-influences and differences. Appropriately, it is being observed on the birthday of great national poet Subramania Bharatiyar. We have heard so many names of the great poets of India, and it reminds me the saying of none other than Vyasadeva in Mahabharata. Achakyuh kavaya sarve sampratye chakhyate pare akhyasante tathivanye itihasamimam bhavi. Earlier the poets were sung the same thing, now we sing, and in the future also the posterity will come, they will sing the same Indian ethos, Indian tradition, Indian heritage. Today, Rajbhavan of Tamil Nadu is organizing this significant occasion to mark the great heritage of our classical languages of India. In this occasion, this is my proud privilege to speak a few minutes about our classical heritage. The heritage of classical Tamil and classical Odia is deeply rooted in India's ancient cultural linguistic traditions. Both languages and their respective art forms reflect rich histories, literary brilliance, and profound spiritual traditions. Classical heritage of Tamil. Tamil is one of the world's oldest languages with literary works dating back more than 2000 years. The Sangam literature is the hallmark of Tamil culture, showcasing themes of love, war, governance, and morality. Famous works include the Thirukural by great sage Thiruvallara, which provides ethical and philosophical guidance, and Tolakappiyam, the ancient Tamil grammatical treatise, and I am here because we have translated this great work, great grammatical treatise, Tholakavyam into Odia. And through that experience only, I will give some points. The classical heritage of Odia, language and literature. Odia is recognized as a classical language in India in 2014. Just after 1 decade, Tamil got it in 2004. With roots dating back over 2000 years, it is said in Purana, Varshanam Bharata Sreshtaha, Desanam Utkalasnataha, Utkalasya Samodesa, Desanasti Mahitale. The literary tradition began with ancient palm leaf manuscripts and works like Madala Panji, the Chronicle of Jagannath Temple, and Sarala Mahabharata, our first work in literature by Sarala Das, the saint poet. Medieval poets like Jayadeva contributed with the works like Gita Govinda, which celebrates the divine love. Though Gita Govinda is written in Sanskrit, it is the source of medieval Oriya lyric poetry. And the other points, what I see in comparison to these both cultural traditions, while Tamil and Odia heritage are distinct, they share the common similarities. Both are deeply connected to temple-based culture where art, music, dance flourished as a devotional experience. Perhaps it is for 500 years this tradition of Gita Govinda Seva is there in Jagannath Temple. It is also written in an inscription by Prataparudra Deva in 16th century that there should be the Gita Govinda Seva before Lord goes to sleep. Hathigumpha inscription, elephant pillar inscription of 1st century before Christ by joining King Kharavela, inscribed in Udayagiri in Bhubaneswar. There is a mention refers to Tamira Sangatta, which means Tamil Confederacy. It is one ancient reference of Tamil culture or Tamil literature in inscription of 1st century before Christ in Odisha. Mythological themes often form a basis of their music, literature and dance, both the languages. The artistic traditions of both regions emphasize spirituality and devotion, particularly to Hindu deities like Shiva, Vishnu and Krishna. These classical traditions reflect the timeless heritage of Tamil and Odia culture, which continue to thrive as living traditions celebrated through festivals, performances and literature. Then I will come to the grammatical tradition. The grammatical tradition of Tamil and Odia are integral to their classical heritage, reflecting their linguistic sophistication and deep-rooted scholarly traditions. While the two languages belong to different linguistic families, you know, Tamil is in Dravidian and Odia is in Indo-Aryan. Both have evolved robust grammatical systems to support their rich literary oral traditions. I have the details of grammatical tradition in Tamil and Odia, but it will take time, so I cannot speak on these things. In grammatical tradition of Odia, Odia grammar evolved from the Prakrit and Tamil grammar. You know, the Tamil grammar has ancient origins, with the earliest systematic grammar detailed in Tolakapiyam in 2nd century BC, one of the oldest extant grammatical text in the world. Odia grammar developed from the Prakrit and Sanskrit traditions, evolving as an independent system by 10th century AD. Early grammatical frameworks were heavily influenced by Sanskrit grammarians like Panini and later regional works. So, these are the few points, the comparison of Tamil and Odia, and we see in a greater sense that when we call this Indian tradition, and what already it is said by some of our speakers, that once on the day of inauguration of Sahitya Academy of the National Academy of Letters in India, great philosopher and our former President of India said that Indian literature is one manifested in many languages. So I see this is the thing. Namastute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullara Vinna Utapatra Netram Jenantaya Bharata Tailapurnam Prajolitam Jnanamaya Pradipaha. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we now humbly request the Honorable Governor to felicitate our dignitaries on the dais. The Honorable Governor will now felicitate Dr. Sudha Seshayan, Vice Chairperson, Central Institute of Classical Tamil, Chennai. Thank you, sir. We request our Honorable Governor to felicitate Professor R. Chandrasekharan, Director, Central Institute of Classical Tamil, Chennai. Thank you, sir. We now humbly request our Honorable Governor to felicitate our eminent speakers. The Honorable Governor will now felicitate Tirupur Krishnan. The Honorable Governor will now felicitate Dr. Rangasamy. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Governor will now felicitate Professor Jayaprakash. We humbly request your Honorable Governor to felicitate Dr. Ayyappan Kariyath. The Honorable Governor will now felicitate Professor B.K. Panda. Thank you, sir. We now humbly request the Honorable Governor to felicitate the eminent translators who have contributed to the richness of Tamil language and to other Indian languages. The Honorable Governor will now felicitate Professor Giribala Mohanty, who has translated Tirukkural from Tamil to Odia. I request the Honorable Governor to felicitate the eminent translators who have contributed to the richness of Tamil language and to other Indian Professor Basant Kumar Panda, who has translated Tolkappiyam from Tamil to Odia. Tirukkural from Tamil to Odia. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Professor Basant Kumar Panda, who has translated Tolkappiyam from Tamil to Odia. The Honorable Governor is now felicitating Professor Basant Kumar Panda. The Honorable Governor will now felicitate Dr. Ayyappan Kariyath, who has translated Tirukkural from Tamil to Malayalam. Ayyappan Kariyath will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor, followed by Dr. V. Padmavati, who has translated from Tamil to Hindi, 20वीं शताब्दी की Tamil Kahani in 5 volumes, where 100 short stories of 100 Tamil writers have been translated. Dr. V. Padmavati is now being felicitated. Will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Next, Dr. Jayalalitha, who has translated Tolkappiyam from Tamil to Hindi, Kannada. Biswin Satabdi ki Tamil Kahani. Dr. Jayalalitha, who has translated stories of Tolkappiyam from Tamil to Kannada, will now be felicitated. Dr. B. Padmavati is followed by Dr. K. Vanaja Kulkarni, who has translated works from Tamil to Kannada. Ahananuru, Patthapattu, Tamil to and Kannada. Thirumurugatrupadai, which has been translated from Tamil to Kannada, will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Followed by Professor N. Krishnamurthy, who has translated works like Ahananuru, Patthapattu from Tamil to Kannada, will be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Thirumurugatrupadai, which has been translated from Tamil to Kannada, Professor Krishnamurthy is now being felicitated by the Honorable Followed by Professor N. Next, we welcome Dr. K. Malarvidi, who has translated works from Tamil to Kannada. Will be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Other works which he has translated and many more works from Tamil to Kannada will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Dr. Revati CM, who has translated Tirukkural from Tamil to Kodava language, will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. The applause can continue. Paditripattu. They are such great works. They have taken the richness of various language across the nation, Tamil to various different languages and different languages to Tamil. So we request our audience to Kodava language will Next we welcome Thiru Saurabh Varik, who has translated Tirukkural from Tamil to Konkani. They are such great Thiru Saurabh Varik, who has translated Tirukkural from Tamil to Konkani. Next we welcome Thiru Babu Koraga, who has translated Tirukkural from Tamil to Koraga. Thiru Babu Koraga, who has translated Tirukkural from Tamil to Koraga. Translated Tirukkural from We welcome Professor Dr. Naduvattam Gopalakrishnan, who has translated Silapadigaram from Tamil to Malayalam. We welcome Thiru Babu Koraga, who has translated Professor Dr. Naduvattam Gopalakrishnan from Tamil to Koraga. We welcome Tirumati Meenakshi Ji Murmu, who has translated works from Tamil to Santali. She has translated Professor Dr. Santali Gopalakrishnan, who has translated Silapadigaram from Tamil to Malayalam. Professor Dr. Naduvattam Gopalakrishnan. We welcome Tirumati Meenakshi Ji Murmu, who has translated works from Tamil to Santali. She has translated Tirukkural to Santali language. We welcome Tirumati Meenakshi Ji Murmu, who has translated from Tamil to Santali. We welcome Dr. Rupali Swargiyari, who has translated Tirukkural to Bodo language. Dr. Rupali Swargiyari. Thank you, sir. We welcome Dr. Sai Geeta, who has translated Tirukkural to Tulu. Dr. Sai Geeta, who has translated Tamil to Santali. Tirukkural to Tulu. We welcome Dr. Rupali. We welcome Dr. Kamaraj, who has translated Tirukkural works from Malayalam to Tamil language. Brahmananda Purana Ghadyam, Ramacharitam, Ramakatha Pattu, which has been translated from Malayalam to Tamil. Translated Tirukkural to We welcome Professor J.V. Satyavani, who will be felicitated by the Honorable Governor for translating works from Telugu to Tamil. Dr. Kamaraj, who has translated Kala from Malayalam to Tamil language, which has been translated from Telugu to Tamil. Ramacharitam, we welcome Tirumati Madhumita, who has translated works from Telugu to Tamil. We welcome Professor J.V. Satyavani, who will be felicitated by the Honorable Governor for translating works from Telugu to Tamil. Mr. Aditya Srivastava, Kala Puronadayam, which has been translated from Telugu to Tamil. We welcome Tirumati Madhumita, who has translated works from Telugu to Tamil. Who has contributed to the greatness of the language. We welcome Ms. Supriya Nandi from Telugu to Tamil. From Varanasi, Mr. Aditya Srivastava from Bihar. Ms. Supriya Nandi from Varanasi. will be felicitated by the Honorable Governor for their literary contribution on this momentous Bharatiya Bhasha Divas. We welcome Dr. S. Sendil Prakash, who has translated works from Tamil to Bengali and from Bengali to Tamil. Ms. Supriya Dr. S. Sendil Prakash, who has translated works from Tamil to Bengali and from Bengali to Tamil. We welcome Ms. Saumashri Adak, who will be felicitated by the Honorable Governor for translating works from Tamil to Bengali and from Bengali to Tamil. Ms. Saumashri Adak. Tamil to Bengali and from Bengali to Ms. Manami Mondal, who has translated works from Tamil to Bengali and from Bengali to Tamil. Tamil to Bengali. We welcome Ms. Saumashri Adak, who will be felicitated. We welcome Dr. Rajalakshmi Krishnan, who has translated works from Tamil to Hindi. We also welcome Thiru R. Krishnan, who will be presenting Manami Mondal, who has translated works Dr. Rajalakshmi Krishnan, who has translated works from Tamil to Hindi, will now be felicitated from Bengali to Tamil. We welcome Dr. Rajalakshmi Krishnan. He has written and translated by Dr. Rajalakshmi Krishnan. We also welcome the Honorable Governor Krishnan, who will be presenting a book to the Honorable Governor. Dr. Rajalakshmi Krishnan, who has translated works from Tamil to Hindi, will now be felicitated. Thiru R. Krishnan will be presenting. We welcome Dr. L.V.K. Sridharan, who has translated works from Tamil to Hindi, the Honorable Governor. Dr. L.V.K. Sridharan, who has translated works from Tamil to Hindi, will be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Thank you. We welcome Dr. L.V.K. Sridharan, who has translated works from Tamil to Hindi. Natrinai, Paditrupaattu, Pattupaattu, Dr. L.V.K. Sridharan, who has translated works. We welcome Dr. R.M. Srinivasan, who has translated works from Tamil to Hindi. Kranti Purusha, Mahan Shri Ramanujacharya, Tamil or Hindi. Krishna Bhakti Kavyam, who has translated which has been translated from Tamil to Hindi, will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Translated from Tamil to Hindi. We now call upon Dr. R.M. Saraswati, who has translated works from Tamil to Hindi. Kranti Purusha, Mahan Shri Ramanujacharya, Anya Kahaniya, which has been translated from Tamil to Hindi, will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Dr. P. Saraswati will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. We now call upon Dr. P. Saraswati. We now welcome Dr. C. Murugan, who has translated Tolkapiyam to Sanskrit. Dr. C. Murugan, who has translated Tolkapiyam to Sanskrit, will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Dr. P. Saraswati will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. We now welcome Dr. felicitated by the Honorable Governor for his translation from Tamil to Kotha. Dr. C. Murugan, who has translated which he has translated to Kotha, and for his contribution to Tamil literary works, will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. We welcome Dr. N. Praveen Kumar, who has translated works from Punjabi to Tamil. Tamil translation of selected Sri Guru Granth from Tamil to Kotha. Dr. N. Praveen Kumar will now be felicitated to Kotha, and for his contribution. We welcome Dr. Natarajan, who has translated Tirukural to Bengali. We welcome Dr. N. Natarajan, who has translated works from Punjabi to Tamil. Tamil to Bengali. Dr. P. Ramasamy, who has translated works from Tamil to Hindi, will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. We welcome Dr. Natarajan, who has translated Pattupaattu, are the works which he has translated from Tamil to Hindi. Dr. P. Ramasamy. Tirukural, Dr. R. Tyagarajan, who has translated works from Sanskrit to Tamil. Veda Vedanta Vidya to Hindi will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Dr. R. Tyagarajan, Kuruntogai, Ahananuru. We now welcome Tirumati Gauri Kripanandan, who has translated work from Tamil to Telugu and from Telugu to Tamil, will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Tirumati Gauri Kripanandan will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. We welcome Tirukurunji Velan, who has translated works from Malayalam to Tamil and from Tamil to Malayalam. Tirukurunji translated work from Tamil to Telugu and from Telugu to Tamil, will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Tirumati Gauri Kripalan will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. We welcome Jaya Venkatrama, who has translated works from Kannada to Tamil and from Tamil to Kannada, will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor, Thiru Jaya Venkatraman. Ladies and gentlemen, Thiru Kurinjivelan will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. We welcome Thiru Jaya Venkatrama, who has translated works from Kannada will now to Tamil and from Tamil to felicitated by the Honorable Governor. We welcome Tirumati Shubha Pandey, who is a multilingual translator. She has translated noteworthy works in Gujarati, Marathi, Hindi, Tamil and English. Will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Tirumati Shubha Pandey Venkatrama will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. We welcome Tirumati Shubha Pandey, who is a multilingual translator. She has translated noteworthy works in Gujarati, Marathi, Hindi, Tamil and English. Ladies and gentlemen, Thiru Jaya Venkatraman by the Honorable Governor. Tirumati Shubha Pandey, a multilingual translator. She has translated noteworthy works in Gujarati, Marathi, Hindi, Tamil and English, is now being felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Tirumati Alamelu Krishnan, who has translated works from Tamil to Hindi and Sanskrit to Tamil, will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. A multilingual translator, she has translated noteworthy works in Gujarati, Marathi, Hindi, Tamil and English. The Honorable Governor will now felicitate the Tamil scholars who have contributed to translated works from Tamil to Hindi and Sanskrit to Tamil will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Dr. S. Balusamy, the Honorable Governor will now felicitate the Tamil scholars who have contributed to Tamil literature is now being felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Dr. S. Balusamy will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Dr. K. Balaraman. Dr. S. Balusamy. Dr. S. Balusamy is now being felicitated. Dr. K. Balaraman will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Dr. T. Kannan Rajaram. Dr. S. Balusamy will now be felicitated. Dr. K. Balaraman. Dr. T. Kannan Rajaram. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. K. Balaraman is now being felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Dr. K. Balaraman will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. The Honorable Governor will now felicitate Dr. T. Kannan Rajaram. We welcome Dr. M.L. Raja, who will be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Dr. K. Balaraman is now being felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Dr. M.L. Raja. The Honorable Governor will now felicitate Dr. T. Kannan Rajaram will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. We welcome Dr. M.L. Raja, who will be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Dr. M.L. Raja, Professor S. Ravi will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Honorable Governor will now felicitate Dr. P. Selva Shanmugam. The Honorable Governor will felicitate Dr. P. Selva Shanmugam, followed by Professor S. Ravi. Professor S. Ravi. We call upon Dr. G. Uttiradam, who will be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Dr. G. Uttiradam, who will be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Now felicitate Dr. P. Selva Shanmugam. We welcome Dr. P. Vimala, who will be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Shanmugam. Dr. G. Uttiradam is now being felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Dr. P. Vimala will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Dr. Vimala. Dr. G. Uttiradam, who will be felicitated by the Honorable Governor, will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Dr. G. Sasikala, who will be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. We welcome Dr. C. Sadhanandan, is now being who will be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Dr. C. Sadhanandan will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Dr. P. Vimala. Dr. Vimala. Dr. G. Sasikala will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. We welcome Tirumati Meenakshi A, who will be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Tirumati Meenakshi will be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Dr. C. Sadhanandan. Dr. Meenakshi will be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Thank you, sir. Dr. C. Sadhanandan will now
Ladies
be
and gentlemen,
felicitated by
Dr.
the Honorable
Meenakshi
Governor.
is
We
now being
welcome
felicitated by the
Tirumati
Honorable
Meenakshi
Governor.
A, who will be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Tirumati Meenakshi. Dr. Meenakshi will be felicitated by the Honorable
Thank you,
Governor.
sir. Ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you, sir.
we now humbly request the Honorable Governor to felicitate the students,
Ladies and gentlemen,
the winners
Dr.
of the
Meenakshi
essay
is now
competition
being
conducted
felicitated
by
by the Honorable
CICT
Governor.
on the occasion of Mahakavi Subramania Bharatiya's birth anniversary. The first level for the school students from 6th to 9th standard, C. Mohanapriya. Mohanapriya
Ladies and
will
gentlemen,
be felicitated by the Honorable Governor with a certificate and a cash prize of 30,000. The winners of the essay competition,
And the topic
conducted by
was
CICT
Parukulle
on the
Nalla
occasion
Nadu
of
Nam
Mahakavi
Bharata
Subramania
Nadu. The essay
Bharatiya's
topic,
birth
Parukulle
anniversary.
Nalla Nadu Nam Bharata
The first
Nadu.
level for
The
the
second
school
place
students
goes
from
to
6th
B.
ninth
Suveta
standard, C. Mohanapriya
of Noble Metric Higher
Mohanapriya
Secondary School
will be
Virudhunagar
felicitated
District
by the Honorable
second
Governor
prize,
with a certificate and a cash
certificate
prize of
and a cash prize of
20,000.
And
The Honorable
topic
Governor
was
will now
Parukulle Nalla Nadu
present the
Nam
prize
Bharata
to
Nadu.
Jayashree
The essay
S,
topic,
the
Parukulle
third
Nalla
place
Nadu Nam Bharata
with a
Nadu.
certificate and a cash
The
prize
second
of
place
10,000.
goes to B. Suveta of Noble Metric Higher Secondary School, Virudhunagar District. The second prize, certificate and a cash prize of 20,000. The Honorable Governor will now the first place goes to
present the
M.
prize to
Bhargavi,
Jayashree
the first
S,
prize being
the
30,000
third place
and a certificate.
with a certificate and a
The
cash
second
prize
place
of
to
10,000.
MP Gopika with a cash prize of 20,000 and a certificate. The third place to K. Vinoshri with a certificate and a cash prize of 10th to 12th standard under the title college level Piradaravara. The first place title being Valluvar Unarthum Aram. The first place goes 1,000 and a certificate. Prize being 30,000 and a cash prize. Gopika with a cash prize of 20,000 and a certificate. The third place to K.
with a cash prize
Vinoshri with a certificate and a cash prize of 10,000. And the third place to Ratna Vinci at the college level and a cash prize of 10,000. The title being Valluvar Unarthum the winner Aram, the first place competition will be felicitated by the Honorable Governor at level and a cash prize. Standard, the first place goes to C. Kritika with the first prize being a certificate and a cash prize. And the third place to Ratna Vinci with a certificate and a cash prize of 10,000. The second place to Viveha VG with a second prize of 20,000 cash prize and certificate. The third place to A. Abhi goes to certificate and a cash prize of 10,000. Level 2 conducted for students from between 10 to 12 standard. The heading being Sevichelvam. The second place, the first place goes to A. Subhadra. The second prize with of 20,000 cash prize of 30,000 and a certificate. The second place to Jeevan Prasad R with a cash prize of and a cash prize of 10,000 and a certificate. Level 2 conducted for students from between 10 to 12 standard. The heading being the third place Sevichelvam. The first place goes to A. Subhadra with a certificate and a cash prize of 10,000, 30,000 and a certificate. The second place to the winners of the poetry competition at the college level 20,000 and a certificate. First place goes to Saeed Amarullah. First prize 30,000, cash prize and a certificate. The third place with a certificate and a cash prize of 10,000. The winners of the poetry competition at the college level. First place goes to Saeed Amarullah. First prize 30,000, cash prize and a certificate. Second place B. Karthi, 20,000 cash prize and a certificate. And third place AP Tamil Puril, 10,000 cash prize and certificate. Thank you, sir.
To release the book Bharati Ki Kavyamala, the Hindi translation of Mahakavi Subramania Bharatiya's poems, translated by Dr. Jamuna Krishnaraj. Thank you. The books will now be presented to all the dignitaries on the dais. Bharati Ki Kavyamala, Hindi translation of Mahakavi Subramania Bharatiya's poems, translated by Dr. Jamuna Krishnaraj. Thank you, sir. We now humbly request the Honorable Governor to felicitate Dr. Jamuna Krishnaraj. It happens to be their wedding anniversary as well. Dr. Jamuna Krishnaraj's wedding anniversary also on this occasion. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, we now humbly request the Honorable Governor to address the gathering.
அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். All of us assembled here, whether we are young or old or in between, we are all soldiers of Mahakavi Bharati, and there is absolutely no reason to be down in energy. It has to be up and high. On this very, very auspicious occasion of Jayanti Divas of Mahakavi Bharati, I extend my warmest greetings and best wishes to all of you. We know Mahakavi, his love for Bharat, his love for Bharatiya languages. Sometimes I wonder, in such a short life, Divine took him away from us when he was very young. But in that short life, what all he gave us, what all wealth that he left behind. And when I think of him, I think of Adi Sankaracharya. Such a short life. And what he left. Swami Vivekananda, again. Perhaps those who are dear to us, they are dear to God also. Bharatiyar, there are scholars here, they have spoken so well, so much, and much more can be endlessly one can go on speaking about him and his contributions. His love for Bharat and Bharatiya languages. He always believed that the most powerful and the best medium of education and learning is one's mother tongue. In fact, when the British were trying to kill our languages, and they were trying to enforce either through inducement or through coercion English, and blatantly propagating that English was the only language capable of refined expression. At that time, Mahakavi Bharati had challenged that notion, and he campaigned for the mother tongue. I was going through the publication by Hindu group of Mahakavi Bharati's, his letters to editors. Then I came across a piece that in October 1916, in the early part of October, there was a lecture at Triplicane, and J.C. Rollo, who was the principal of Pachayappa College, in his talk, he strongly advocated that English should be the only language of education because Tamil or other languages, Indian languages, were not fully competent. In fact, the British didn't even call our languages as languages. They called them vernacular. And our people, that speaks of the colonization of mind, that our people in academia, scholars, writers, we keep using the term for our languages vernacular without realizing the sting of humiliation in this word, because vernacular means literally language of the slaves. It derives from Latin expression vern, that is, vern is born slave. And since slaves didn't have a refined language, they used to blabber. That was the notion. So they say all these are vernaculars. When J.C. Rollo gave a strong argument, and that was a part of the British agenda, immediately Mahakavi responded through a long letter to editor on 19th of October 1916, where he demolishes the argument of J.C. Rollo and says that, look, Tamil is far more superior and powerful in expressing the sentiments as well as scientific expressions than English. He even took exception to the word use of the word vernacular. I wish our people today, educated people who keep using vernacular as a substitute for regional languages, they should learn from Mahakavi. When he, in the British time, he took exception. He says, this is not the word. It is a language, our language, which is far more capable than English. You know, British, until the 18th century, they were in the awe of Bharatiya knowledge system and Bharatiya languages. Until the 18th century, until the end of 18th century. Situation changed only in the 19th, when they had captured the whole of India after the loss of Battle of Panchalan Kurichi in 1801 in south and Marathas war in 1802 or 3 in the north. When they took over the entire India, then they changed. Until then, if you look at their description of Bharat, you see it is entirely different. When the British first captured the territory after the Battle of Plassey in 1757, when they captured Bengal, soon a large number of academicians, professors from UK, they began pouring into India to understand our knowledge system. Because they had heard, Europeans had taken interest in our Bharatiya knowledge system and Bharatiya languages since long. Mostly Germans and others. They had heard, the British had learned about it. So they were curious. And a team of professors from Edinburgh University, because Edinburgh, Oxford and Cambridge were the main centers of learning in UK. Edinburgh was closer to the government, British government, and the team of professors led by Adam Ferguson, William Robertson, John Flaubert, A. McNamee. A number of them, they came and they tried to find out what was there, which the Europeans, where the Germans were talking so high of. And then they realized the depth. At the time, their concern was that they should collect as much of literature, as much of works of Bharatiya. In 1884, Macpherson was the Governor General of Bengal. He wrote, Macpherson was he was a product of Edinburgh University. He was a student of Adam Ferguson. Adam Ferguson wrote to him and says that, look, as a student, as a former student, he urged him to collect all the works from this country, all about all their literature, all their poetries, fables, stories. Bring and send it to us. And then he says, you will be remembered, Macpherson, you will be remembered as the one who brought light from India to UK. Light from India to UK. Later in 1788, I am saying all these because anyone who is curious can follow it up. In 1788, McConaughey, another professor, he wrote a letter, detailed letter to Henry Dundas. Henry Dundas was at the time Board of Control of East India Company. He was the president of that, more powerful than the Board of Directors, because he was appointee of the British government and he was a politician very close to the ruling establishment. And the letter of Professor McConaughey to Henry Dundas is very interesting. It says, it's a long letter. It says, please discover, collect and translate all the works of, he used the word, all the works of Hindus. They never used to call India in their conversation. They used to say the works of Hindus. And discover means find out, locate where they are. Collect, pick it up, and translate all the works of ancient Hindus. Because that will expand the European system of thought. Expand the European system of thought and enrich European science. So both in philosophy and science, there is so much of in Bharat that it will enrich us, expand our system of thought and enrich our science. Professor McConaughey in the letter goes on further to say that collect everything. Again, literature, poems, fables, history. So that we will know the celebrated people. He says Hindus, the celebrated people from whom, mark my word, it is his word, I am just repeating it. Celebrated people from whom Moses received his learning and Greece their art and their religion. Moses was born 1000 years before Jesus Christ. He is one of the founding prophets of Abrahamic faith. And there this person, this Professor McConomy writes that this celebrated people, Hindus, their works, from whom Moses received his learning, his wisdom. Moses received his wisdom. And Greece, their art and their religion. This was the way the British described Bharatiya literature, Bharatiya work, Bharatiya philosophy, Bharatiya science. Today I find it very surprising and very, in fact, I shouldn't be calling it amusing because I find it very embarrassing also that here our people here, they try to write and compare our Tamil ancient literature of Sangam with some English writers, Shakespeare and others who were born only yesterday. And how old is this? It was only in the 19th century when they took control of the whole Bharat and then they said, look, we have to rule this country for long. At that point of time, two forces became active. One was the British government for their own commercial interest. They wanted to keep India as a colony for long. And the second was the missionaries who were very keen, very anxious to harvest all the souls. Because at the time in the British Parliament, the debates used to happen, and Wilberforce, one of the parliamentarian, who was very strongly in support of the free hands given to all the missionaries. He says that, look, there are 60 million souls waiting to be harvested in India, in Bharat. Missionaries must have a free hand. So both these forces were all very keen to take control of this country. One, to rule it for long and exploit the wealth. Other was evangelize this whole country. And then they realized that this is not possible. Because Adam Ferguson who was the advisor to the British government on colonial affairs, he had already advised them that, look, you cannot replicate your colonizing experience in North America or in Australia. Because those places, you annihilated the local people, settled there, captured and be there. In Bharat, in India, you cannot do that. Because not only India is large and large population, but this large population with all the diversity that you see, diversity of languages, diversity of regions, diversity of customs and cuisines, there is underlying unity. So if you do anything to one part of this Bharat, there will be impact in the other part also. So it will not be possible to replicate your experiment of what experience, what you had done in America and Canada or Australia. You cannot do that. So, how to make their rule as lasting as possible? And then they decided, first and foremost, you have to kill their language. In the Bharatiya languages, Bharatiya Indian languages must be destroyed. Because it is through this that they communicate and they share their thoughts, their common bonds in thoughts. We heard a very learned exposition from Tirupur Krishnan about Chintanai Ondre Udiyan. How we are one in our thought. Bhasha, the language, is a means of communicating our emotions, our thoughts. And at the level of emotion and thoughts, which is bhav and vichar, bhava and vichar, we find there is a commonality in the entire Bharat. This is how Bharat came into being. We know that the three great epics that actually created and sustained this unique Rashtra called Bharat are Ramayanam, Mahabharatam and Bhagavatam. These three texts in all the Bharatiya languages are in all over the country. You go here in any part of this country, they will tell you the story. The same story. I have heard Ramayana among the tribals, remote tribals in the northeast region, whom we consider as backward and all. No, I have heard the story. And their sense of right and wrong, how to conduct oneself, how to behave in the family, how to behave with others, how look at the environment. All these are so beautifully depicted in our three great epics, Ramayana, Mahabharatam and Bhagavatam, which actually has shaped the heartbeat of the whole country. When we say chin of English, wrong policies, because perhaps our leadership didn't understand what Mahakavi Bharati had said, that our heartbeat is one. If you look at outwardly, you see so much of what is there in common between here and let us say people of UP, Bihar or Punjab. On the face of it, it will not. It will look okay, fine. Different dress, different language, different food. But bhav and vichar, this thought, emotions and thought, at that level, we find oneness. And this oneness which has been shaped by our ancient rishis and saints. Because all these works, all the three great epics have been produced, not exactly translated. What Valmiki wrote, what Vyas wrote, they other writers in the different languages, they didn't just reproduce it, they didn't do translation. They reproduced it, they did not do just a translation. And they were all basically saint poets. They were not just intellectual literary poets. They were saint poets. They were immersed in those bhava and bhakti with which these great epics were created and out of which they were born. So they reproduced in all these languages and which shaped. We heard the speaker talking about how Kambar and how Kumar Gurupurva Kumar Gurbar, when he took this Kambar, Ramavataram, narrated there, and how it inspired subsequently Tulsidas. How he wrote Ramcharitamanas. Here Kambar wrote Ramavataram, there Tulsidas wrote Ramcharitamanas. And Ramcharitamanas in a language that was intelligible, understandable to the common folks. Absolutely, one who has not even gone to college or school, forget about anywhere, but illiterate folks, they could fully understand. It was brought in that language. This is the power of our language. And this we missed for long. Instead, we started linguistic chauvinism. On the one hand, during the initial decades of our independence, a very ill-conceived initiative was taken to bring Hindi as the language of the whole country. No, this is not. This is, after all, how old is Hindi? All these languages, any other Indian language is much older than Hindi. It cannot be. Every language has to be encouraged. Every language is the treasure. And you know, when the British started their project to destroy the Indian languages, they wanted first to understand the Indian education system. And after the communication from Henry Dundas to, he passed on to Lord Cornwallis, and then Cornwallis subsequent Governor General. They launched a project to study the Indian knowledge system, how the Indian education system first. And in all the three presidencies, Madras, Calcutta, and Bombay, they commissioned a study to understand how was the Indian education system. And here, in our own Tamil, our Madras presidency, at the time there were 16 districts in entire Madras presidency, which includes Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Telangana, Karnataka, and a major part of Kerala. There were only 16 districts. And all the 16 district collectors were asked by the governor to give a detailed report on the education system. And they submitted a detailed report. Reports are available in our archives here in Chennai. And you read the reports. Reports tell you that in the schools, the medium of instruction was local language. Here it was being taught in Madras presidency, Tamil areas, Tamil, Telugu area, Telugu, Kannada area, Kannada, Malayalam area, Malayalam, they were teaching. In the higher institutions, Tamil and Sanskrit. Sanskrit has been universal all over this. All the three presidencies, when they gave report, that this, at the primary level, at the school level, the medium of instruction was mother tongue. And at the higher level, one area, somewhere, it was by and large double, both regional as well as Sanskrit, but Sanskrit was one language which was almost like a lingua franca all over Kashmir to Kanyakumari. Even here, our great people, great saints of the 19th century, Ramalinga Swami, Vallalar, he started his schools teaching Sanskrit and Tamil. Our ancient universities, which were started during the British time, when I say ancient means during the British time, whether Annamala University, Algappa University and all, they all started as a Sanskrit and Tamil college. Unfortunately, Madras University used to have a very vibrant Sanskrit department. Unfortunately, in all the universities, Sanskrit department is closed now. Very sad. This inward looking is not good for anyone. You know, it's not. We prosper, we grow with cross-fertilization when the ideas flow. That's how we grow. Not by closing the doors. Rig Veda says, Anu Bhadra Krato Yavantu Vishwata. Let the noble thoughts come from all over. Don't close your windows and doors. That's how our knowledge system was. This is how people, they learned, they shared their thoughts. This is how, imagine, Adi Sankaracharya, born here in South, he carried his thoughts and philosophy all over to the foothills of Himalayas, all over the country. This is how our great Sikh Guru started more than 550 years ago. Came all the way from Punjab to Rameshwaram, to Kanchipuram, all the places, traveled. They used to travel, share this, exchange thoughts, say something, learn some, listen and learn things. This is how this country has been growing. But this post-independence linguistic sovereignty, linguistic estate which was created for better governance, it gave rise to linguistic chauvinism, and that started dividing us. This is very unfortunate. This will weaken our country, our society. Bharat Samudaya, as Mahakavi Bharati dreamt of, that Samudaya will cease to exist if we start putting language walls, barriers all around. That's very unfortunate. It cannot. And today, at the time when our country is now getting back to the direction, right direction, a direction which is appropriate for this great nation. Because we know that at the time when we became independent, we were in a very bad shape. Economically poor. Educationally, we were very behind because British had destroyed our education system. But unfortunately, we started getting poorer. And by the time we had spent about 6.5 decades of independence, from 6th position in the world as a 6th largest economy, we became the 11th. We became poorer. This was a country which was a home of the largest number of sick and uneducated people. In the last 10 years, things have changed, are changing fast. Today we are the 5th largest economy, and we are soon going to be the 3rd largest. We know that. We have proved ourselves that when the whole world suffered COVID, it was this country, Bharat, and thanks to our scientists, that when we made the vaccine, unlike the Western countries or developed countries, we did not keep the vaccine to ourselves. We did not look at it as an opportunity to make money. We shared the vaccine with 150 countries in the world. This is the true character of Bharat. This is the DNA of Bharat. When last year we hosted G20, our motto was Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam Yadu Mure Yavarum Kelir. The whole world is a family. We are all one. One world, one earth, one family, one future. And with that, we walked the talk by including a large mass of humanity, the African continent, as a member of G20. It was not included till then. Our effort, even the climate preservation, we have been going for sustainable development, sustainable energy, green energy as we call it. We have to develop, and we are developing. We are showing to the world a model that development can happen without destroying the ecology. Progress can happen. It is not that either I or you. No, it is a concept of we. We progress together. India, this country, Bharat, is showing the new model to the world, and world is looking at us with a lot of expectation to show the leadership, show the way. Because if an experiment that succeeds with 1.4 billion people, 140 crore people, almost 20% of the world, it is an experiment that can succeed in the entire world as well. So the world is looking at us with a lot of expectation. At this time, when we are moving forward with a clear determination, with a positive energy that we can do it, and we have done it in many fronts, incredible. Every front, I don't have to count it. If we keep counting, it will be endless. At this point of time, there are forces which are trying to weaken us. The forces within the country and forces outside the country. It's a coalition of forces again. They are trying to weaken, trying to create turmoil. They are trying to create a doubt about institutions, is to spread anarchy. In this coalition, there are foreign hostile countries who do not like to see the rise of India. There are foreign missionaries, those who they are not very comfortable with it. And their cohorts, the business establishment, those who are pumping billions of dollars to destabilize this country. And jihadi forces. All these are trying to create problem in this country. And problem by way of spreading lies. It's not just some rumors, which is very well orchestrated lies. They are relying more on, I don't know how many of you are aware of it. There is a book, Anarchist Tool Book, where people refer to it as how to create anarchy in a society. And there is an old American, of course, the lady was of European origin, but became American. Jenny Holzer. Miss Jenny Holzer's book, which is popularly called Book of Nasty Essays. Nasty Essays. Says how to create anarchy. I said, don't fight. Fighting, physical fight is useless, worthless. Instead, make the people lose confidence in the institutions, in the government, in the judiciary, in the executive, in the legislature, election commission, everything is false. Everything is compromised. You keep creating confusion. And this confusion that you keep creating, that will reap you will get the benefit. You will succeed in creating anarchy. So sometimes they will say, Constitution is in danger. Sometimes they will say, election commission is compromised. Sometimes they will say, judiciary is handpicked. And now they will say, okay, even the institution like Chairman Raj Sabha, no, we don't trust you. I mean, raising this all the time, questioning, putting question mark over our constitutional institutions is not just a short-term tactics. It's a part of a strategy. It's a part of a strategy to demoralize the people of this country, slow down the progress of this country, create anarchy in this country. On this day, anarchy can be in any name. Some people are doing in the name of language. The moment some publication comes in one language, immediately there will be human cry. How can it be in this language? These are knowing fully well that these are all old games. People today are, by and large, more together. That Sanatana Dharma and its values, you keep attacking it. We have to be careful. Because these forces are not small. They could be small by themselves, but when there is a coalition of these forces, within and outside, it's going to be formidable. And with the help of technology, which helps in faster dissemination of false news or rumors, nowadays enabled by technology itself, creating, though they themselves create fake and false news and spread. Try to create fear, sense of insecurity in the mind of our people. We have to be careful. And on this day, I will urge everyone, as I consider myself as a soldier of Mahakavi Bharati, I would urge every one of you that let us commit ourselves that we will not let this game succeed. We have to make this country Bharat great, and we make this country Bharat great by strengthening our all languages, Bharatiya languages. And I am grateful to all these scholars, multilingual scholars, those who have produced the book in more than one language. I am really, the nation is grateful to you. We like their tribe to increase. On this occasion, I also like to thank Kalamamini Madhavedi Murthy for his wonderful performance. The 3 performances that he did was so enchanting of Mahakavi Bharati's poems. Very, very enlightening, very, very illuminating. I wish all of you the very best, and I urge you once again that let us remain alert, let us do our best, let us commit ourselves to fulfill his dream, because his dream is our future. His dream was Bharat to be the Vishwaguru, and the Vishwaguru we stand to gain, not he. He is not there. We will benefit from this. Let us commit today to be his soldiers, to fulfill his dreams. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Ladies and gentlemen, we request all of you to rise up for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अतिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जाहे तव शुभ आशीष माहे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे